What's up, everybody? Welcome to GameFace, episode 484, right here on Sifted, at SIFTD.net. We have an awesome show for you guys this week. We're going to round up some things we missed at Not E3/Summer Game Fest. We're also going to talk about Xbox maybe cutting 3 of its big first-party studios. And of course, alongside me to discuss all of this madness is the one and only Matt Keil. How are you, Matt? How's your week going, brother?
Yeah, about normal, I think.
Cat's better? That's good.
Yeah, she's doing better. Had an encounter with the other cat yesterday. But we're getting them separated again.
Yeah. That's the way life goes.
Yep. Older cats don't get along.
Yeah, once they get over a certain age, there's no changing them. That's just the way cats are. They're set in their ways. So,
like, just let them fight it out. It's like one of them's bleeding.
The one's gonna die.
Yeah, we're not doing that because one starts the fights, but the other one finishes them. So
right?
You can't really. Yeah, it's like you can't blame the one that wins because it's like, well, she's not doing anything.
Right.
But like.
Well, remember last week?
That's also the one that wants to go after the squirrels in the yard.
Yeah.
I'm like, you would lose that fight.
Yeah.
Those squirrels are tough.
That's actually true. They are. Remember last week, Matt, how we said that we hadn't really noticed like the World Cup being in town or whatever? Mm-hmm. Well, as it turns out, like one of my relatives ended up coming into town out of nowhere, and they stayed down in Santa Monica for a few days. And so I was back down there on the beach and stuff, hanging out for a few days. And I'll say this. In Santa Monica, you can definitely tell the World Cup is here. It was awesome, man. There was people like driving around in groups of like 5 and 6 cars with their like flags out and like yelling and honking their horns.
I've seen a lot of flags on the freeway and stuff.
It was
on cars
cool.
And things, yeah.
And Santa Monica was just booming.
Like, it's really just that it's really more that the out of town crowd didn't really show up.
Yeah.
Locally. You know, because again, LA is full of just about every country you can think of.
Yeah.
I mean, the Iranian contingent is huge because
there's
a huge Persian population here.
Yep.
And so you see Iran supporters everywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just every nationality is represented in this city, so everybody's out to support the sport they actually care about for once. Because normally we're doing football and baseball and basketball, which is not as internationally important.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, it's you can definitely see it just from the people who live here. For
sure. They've also like shut down the pier and like blocked it off, and there's this huge World Cup event thing going on the pier. The
traffic going down to Anaheim was way easier.
Was it?
It was like no one wants to try it because they think it's gonna be worse.
Right.
Because no one wants to try it. It's better.
The bars and restaurants were all packed. People outside like cheering their teams. It was just awesome, man. The atmosphere down there was incredible. So
yeah, World Cup. I mean, even when the World Cup isn't here, like, LA does turn out for it.
LA loves soccer. There's 3 pro soccer teams in LA. So, yeah, our city definitely loves soccer. But so, anyway, what I was getting at is, like, if you're just living in LA, you can't tell. If you go to the right areas, you can definitely tell. Yeah. So, I was pretty impressed by that.
Santa Monica, some of the places like that Culver City shopping area. Definitely down in Irvine, they're freaking out.
Yeah,
down at Spectrum and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I was in Anaheim afterwards. Went to one of my friends from high school was actually in the same area because his daughter had a basketball tournament down there. So he's like, let's meet up for lunch. He's like, where? I'm like, where do you want to go? And he's like, because I go to Anaheim for 2 things: Godzilla and Disneyland.
And for me, it's 2 things: Disney and hockey games.
Yeah. And every once in a while, that Pirates musical theater thing because somebody's dumb enough to have their birthday party there. But
the Penguins play the Ducks there once a year, and that's the one time a year I go to the OC.
He's like, I'm like across the street from Garden Walk. Let's just meet over there. It was like a mall.
Yeah.
And I go over, and I'm like, okay, and parking was a little tough. And I'm saying, that's interesting. I mean, I guess it's Saturday, whatever. And so I get out, and I'm walking to the entrance, and I'm like, why are there 3 Sephiroths in my way? And it turns out just that day, was an outdoor anime convention.
No way.
Like, with booths outdoor, because it's an outdoor mall, so it's all booths set up everywhere, and there's like
that's like an oxymoron.
There's just like everyone especially because like there was someone in a full like 8-foot tall Pikachu outfit. I was like, this person, it was like
dying.
90 degrees. You have got to be dying, and like someone be ready for that Pikachu to just roll over.
Just the little legs kicking on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I mean, that's LA. That's one thing I love about this city is there's just always stuff like that going on. Like if you really look, you can find cool stuff like that to go to pretty much every day.
And yet that's also LA. It's like you got to go to it.
Yeah.
It's, like,
it's not going to find you because it's
no.
too big. Yeah, the city's too big for it to find you. You got to look. Anyway, I hope you guys are having an awesome week. It's been kind of a chill week for Matt and I. I had worked up until Saturday. I had worked 25 days in a row. So I took Sunday off, and actually we both took the week off of playing games. Like we're not reviewing any games in today's episode. I know that makes some of you guys happy. Some of you guys like our episodes that are all just topics, and that is what today's show is. Obviously, there's a huge topic looming that we're going to kick the show off with, which is that, right now, reportedly, Xbox is talking about cutting 3 of its big studios.
Yeah, Xbox might shut us down.
Seriously?
We don't know.
So we have a big topic-heavy episode for you guys today. I know a lot of you guys prefer that in some ways, but we also have some housekeeping to get to today. First of all, thank you guys for showing up on Thursday. I can tell already on YouTube that people aren't used to coming on Thursdays still because there's hardly anybody there yet. And even on Twitch.
Just quiet. We know they're quiet.
Yeah, they are quiet.
YouTube's quiet.
Yeah. And then over on Twitch, I think our audience is smaller today, too, than it usually is. That's totally okay. We get it. Things just didn't work out for us to do it before today, unfortunately. But I think next week, we're probably going to do it on Wednesday. Can you do Wednesday next week?
Wednesday next week. I think so.
Yeah. So we're going to start creeping back to Tuesday here. So next week, it'll be Wednesday. And then hopefully the week after that, we'll get back to Tuesday. Because we know that you guys are used to showing up on Tuesdays at 1 instead of Thursdays. So we appreciate anyone who shows up today. That would be awesome if you guys can be a part of the show, as you guys always are. We'd really appreciate that. And then right before the show kicked off today, we got a little bit of a surprise. We got the box art for Grand Theft Auto 6. And we got the day that pre-orders begin, which is June 25th, next week. The same day that Star Fox goes on sale, you'll be able to pre-order Grand Theft Auto 6. There was the box art for the first time. And they also showed this on their website, a fly-through of Vice City, which, okay, that's pretty damn cool. Yeah, if you go to Rockstar's site right now, this is what you can check out. Like this crazy fly-through of Vice City.
Yep, that's Miami.
It is. So it's really looking like it's really going to launch on November 19th.
I'll believe that on November 17th.
I am 99.9% confident that GTA 6 is going to launch on November 19th. Once they set the pre-orders up.
I'm still calling it a coin flip.
Yeah? You think so?
They can delay this thing as long as it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they can.
Doesn't matter. They will, and they will. Of all the companies in the world, they will.
I think at this point,
also,
though...
why would you pre-order this now?
Yeah.
Pre-orders used to be so you managed to get a copy of it, because GameStop used to get like 4 of them.
But, I think it's just symbolic now.
What is it? It's like, hey, I'd love to spend my money now for something I won't get for months, so that Rockstar can make interest on something they have not given me yet. Like, what is the point of that?
I think
that's outside of like physical special editions.
Yeah.
Why would you pre-order something now?
I mean, I think this is just them messaging that, like, yeah, the game's coming.
Yeah, like it's happening. Sort of.
Like, don't freak out.
Even though, again, if they want to push it to like March, they could.
Here's the thing, though. I think around now, Take-Two needs to start making its media buys. So it needs to start ordering with the major networks and to get into NFL games and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, once you start seeing like the real physical real world, like once you start seeing buses wrapped, but
rats
again,
and stuff.
That stuff doesn't happen until October.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, but I think at this point, like, if you didn't think it was coming out, you'd probably start messaging around that because, again, you need to start placing those big marketing bets, like hundreds of millions of dollars.
This is a good indicator that the train is on the track.
It's headed the right way. Yeah. So hopefully there is no craziness.
I think they should be putting the trailer for this in front of the Odyssey.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, they should just run it everywhere.
They should, but they should put it specifically in front of the Odyssey, which is going to be the biggest.
It's going to be the big blockbuster. Yeah, and I'm sure they will. So anyway, things are looking pretty good for Grand Theft Auto 6 on November 19th, 2026. Again, Matt is right. Rockstar can pretty much do whatever it wants. Would it?
Yes, they
stick
would.
Take-Two with like $500 million in unused marketing?
Yeah,
I don't know about that.
Because it doesn't matter. I think once you're past like September 20th, you're
good.
You're good.
Yeah.
Like, I would say
by then you'll probably start seeing TV commercials.
The TV commercials would not start until probably mid-October.
You think?
You don't advertise
anything
a month out. That's how far out you advertise stuff to the mass audience.
Yeah.
Because they don't remember shit any longer than that.
Yeah.
I always tell the story of Force Awakens when all anybody talked about in our Force Awakens all year. It was like that trailer and this trailer. The trailer got 500 million views or whatever.
Yeah.
And right around Thanksgiving, it was we were watching football at Lawrence's place, and one of his neighbors was over, and she's a woman our age, watches TV, watches stuff, not like a super Star Wars nerd, but she knows stuff.
Yeah.
And a trailer, one of the first like TV ads for Force Awakens ran, because that was like 3 weeks before the movie came out, and she says, "Oh my God, they're making another Star Wars movie." We have been discussing this in the room with her every Sunday for like 7 weeks, and just
That's
yes,
hilarious.
people, obviously, I'm not unaccustomed to people tuning me out as to when I'm talking about Star Wars, but like she had no idea this movie existed until that commercial ran on football.
Yeah,
that's where people find out about.
Well, a lot of it is
football and buses.
It is especially in urban areas.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. So anyway, things are looking okay for Grand Theft Auto. We'll see. We still got some time to go.
Yeah, there's no red flags yet.
Yeah. Well, other than
history.
Right. Which is a big one.
History and cynicism.
Yeah.
Those are your two red, but those don't necessarily dictate what is going to happen.
Yeah. And then one final thing in housekeeping, we've reached the 4-month mark for GameFace TLDR, the shorter version of GameFace. It's only an hour long, literally a third of the length of GameFace normally. So this is a good inflection point. Unfortunately, it does not look like the show is gaining momentum. It's kind of just languishing where it is. Now, here's the thing. I would not keep doing the show just for YouTube, because that was really why I did the show, was try to get the show for mainstream people to watch it, cutting it down so it's not like a big commitment. That might have worked if there's any way to do that on YouTube, but once your YouTube channel is kind of trapped into whatever pot that
it would
YouTube
need to
puts
be
you
its
in,
own channel,
right? And so it's just not growing. The same people watch it every week that watched it the first week.
I think it would be worth maybe making a GameFace TLDR channel and just dumping everything you've done so far into it and seeing what it does.
Maybe. Because I'll just be honest, right now, it's killing me. Like, it is a lot of freaking work. Cutting down a 3-hour show to an hour is a lot of work. I'm using a whole day to do GameFace TLDR.
That's a lot of looking at us.
It is, yeah. But also, I'll say this, like, doing this, I really appreciate how good our show is. Like, our show is just loaded with information that you don't get anywhere else. And that's what makes it hard to cut down to an hour. But I am working my ass off to do TLDR, and I always do, but it's really been rough these last 4 months, man. I have been like I just said, I just worked 25 days in a row before Saturday. I can't keep doing this unless it's paying off. And so we're kind of at an inflection point with GameFace TLDR. One thing I will say is that a lot of our patrons are watching it. And that's not a gigantic number of people, but it's a decent percentage of our patrons. And so I am going to put up a poll on our Patreon, and people on SIFTD.net, you are going to have to go over to the Patreon to vote in this poll on what we should do. If you guys want us to keep going with TLDR, or if you would prefer that I use that day to create something else. Maybe we could do one video review per week or something like that. So again, I've killed myself working on something for GameFace that did nothing. It's the most frustrating thing I've ever done in my life, is working on Sifted. It's just crazy. I have never put myself into something so hard for this response. It's I can't even put it into words how I feel about it. But anyway, that's not your problem, it's mine. But anyway, I want to make sure that the people who are watching TLDR would prefer it over some other type of content. So I want to make sure I'm creating content and using my time as smartly as I can for you guys. And so I'm going to put up a poll and say, hey, would you rather have GameFace TLDR or X, Y, and Z? And whatever you guys pick from that is what we're going to do with that day of work that I have sitting open if we decide to not do TLDR anymore. So it's crazy how many things we've tried, and it doesn't matter. Like, our YouTube channel, it's just like, it's this thing that never budges and never changes, and anything we do on there, it doesn't feel like it matters. If it's not GameFace or Pactor Factor, nothing does any views. It's like, it just doesn't even get sent out to our subscribers. So anyway, I gave it my all, TLDR, man. I have really killed myself. I really believe in the show. I think it's an awesome freaking show. Like, the original plan was actually to contact small TV networks around America and try to sell them the show for like a low price every month, $400 or whatever, for them to get like 4 hours of content for their air. and then just distribute it out to all these thousands and thousands of small TV stations. But I started talking to somebody that I know back in central Pennsylvania who works at one of those stations I was going to pitch it to, and they're like, that'll never work. They're like, we have these contracts with these content providers, and they give us a list of stuff, and we have to pick from it. Like, we don't just accept pitches from people. And so once that kind of wasn't an option, then it was just like, is this working for our audience, and is it generating new audience? And I don't know. So anyway, that poll is going to determine a lot. That's probably going to go up on our Patreon at patreon.com/sifted tomorrow. So most of our patrons spend all their time on sifted.net. You guys are going to have to go over to our Patreon to vote in that poll, and I hope that you do, because your voice is very, very important to the decision-making of what we do with our content. So
one way or the other, I think, try to throw the TLDRs into its own channel and just see what happens.
I just don't know how to get people to it.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm not saying do anything. Do nothing.
Just do it.
Put it all on the channel.
See what happens.
Make a new channel. Dump all the TLDRs into it. Call it GameFace TLDR or Sifted GameFace, whatever you want to call it, but with TLDR in it.
Yeah.
And just put it up.
Why not?
See what happens. See what happens. Experiment.
The other thing, too, is that when you launch, because I've been diving into this stuff over the last, month, because,
At worst case, it hits, and obviously you got to do it again.
Yeah. Which would be a great problem to have. The problem is once you start a new channel, you can't monetize it. You have to wait until you get X number of viewing hours or X number of followers.
Yeah, but it's not about monetizing it.
It's really not.
It's about seeing what the algorithm does.
Yeah.
And that
it's like a little experiment.
Yeah.
So anyway, just as always, I'm very honest with you guys, and I keep you guys in the loop because you guys are paying for this. So, as a creator that people are paying for content, I'm not happy with good enough because you're paying for it. Like, our content needs to be better. This podcast needs to be better. Our B-roll needs to be better. Our production values need to be better. Our audio needs to be better. I understand that because you're paying for our content. You're not getting it free. And so I am just grinding along here trying to make the best content on planet Earth. And it's like a tree fall. It's like that old saying, if a tree falls in the woods and there's no one there to hear it, does it make a sound?
Yes.
I feel like that's Sifted in a nutshell right now. So anyway, just keeping you guys in the loop. And in fact, let's check in with you guys and chat before we get into the show proper here. Again, we're here on Thursday, so I'm just happy that anyone has showed up to check out the show. Ian Esquire says GameFace podcast channel. Times in, you need to interject more jump cuts to explosion and 3-second video memes, bruh. I know. I mean, I've even went down that path where we started cutting factor and doing like the jump cuts in and all that stuff. And it doesn't do anything because, again, our channel is just our channel. No new people ever watch anything on our channel. It's never sent to new people. And so you're kind of preaching to the choir when you're changing stuff. It's like these people already like factor. They already like GameFace. Like, we're not changing it for them. We're trying to change it for a new audience that will never see it. And that's kind of become the issue. Ian Esquire, I'll always watch. Thank you, Ian. Appreciate that, brother. Thank you for Twitch Prime as well. You slid in there. It's really insane how nothing wins over the algorithm. I've tried everything. I have tried everything. You may have even noticed this week we started putting up shorts and clips. I clipped out some stuff from the Shane Satterfield show, clipped out the top 5 best new franchises from Summer Game Fest 2025. They do nothing. It's crazy. And I'll put our content up against anyone's. It doesn't matter how good the content is. It does not matter. That's why we tell you guys to share our content all the time. Because that's the only way it's going to reach new people. Because YouTube's not going to do it. Silk Snake, even if something fails, take solace in knowing you tried and gave it your all. Good one. Cinetyke, hang in there, Shane. Thank you, Cinetyke. I just need a break. I haven't had a vacation since 2022. More than like a 3-day weekend at Labor Day and then the 8 days that I take at Christmas. I went on that vacation to Greece in 2022, and I have not had a vacation since. Working 70, 80-hour weeks, sometimes 3 weeks in a row. I don't know how I do it, honestly. I don't know how I'm cracked up. Seriously. Like, a human being should not be doing what I'm doing.
No.
My constitution is very strong. That's all I got to say. Swanland, would it make sense to use them as an extra podcasting for podcast apps? I'm not sure what that means. TLDR should be shorts. What do you mean? I don't know. What does that mean? We put up shorts. They do the same number. Every short we put up does the same number of views. It does 1,500 views, and then it dies every time. We can even hit it. Do the 1,500 views in 2 hours, and done. And done. It is insane what YouTube does. It makes no sense at all. No, I'm not doing more shorts. They don't work. They don't do anything. They gain us followers who then realize that we don't post 6 shorts a day, and then they leave. They're like, oh, this is actually a real YouTube channel that posts like long-form content. F that, and they leave. Like if we're going to do shorts, it feels like we just need to start a shorts channel and only Sifted Shorts, and that's the channel. It becomes so much to wrangle for one person, it becomes impossible, basically. I still don't know what Swanlam's talking about there. Daring Swoosh of the show, as always, thank you, Daring. Starting to finally get a bit interested in GTA 6. I think a lot of people are finally going to start allowing themselves to believe it's coming out and therefore allowing themselves to get excited for it. And thank you for Twitch Prime too, Daring. That's awesome.
I'm going to need to see the gameplay reveals here.
Yeah. Remission Author gave us a $15 super chat over on YouTube. Thank you. Do you have a question for us? We'll answer it. Every super chat we will answer. No matter when you give it to us in the show, we're going to stop and we're going to answer it. And that's the other thing that's happened, honestly, Matt, is our YouTube revenue has just fallen through the floor since we started streaming on YouTube. That's another, I hate to say it, I'm honestly considering stopping streaming on YouTube. Because our YouTube revenue has just gone to the toilet. Because I don't know if they're not watching the archive anymore, and maybe the live stream isn't serving the same amount of ads or something.
If you watched it once, then is it the same people, I assume?
Yeah, pretty much. So at first, when we started streaming on YouTube, it was great because we were still getting our usual YouTube ad revenue, and we started getting super chats. Since the first month that we started streaming on YouTube, the super chats have just disappeared. And that's fine. I realize that's your money and you can do what you want with your money. I'm just explaining why I'm thinking about taking the show off live streaming on YouTube. Because it's splitting up our audiences. It makes Name That Game Tune not as compelling because there aren't as many people competing at it anymore because half the people are over on YouTube. We've lost a ton of money since we started streaming on YouTube, and it hasn't done anything for us. It hasn't added to our subscribers. It's done nothing but take money away from us. So I hate to say it, I'm really thinking about it, going back to just Twitch and having everybody be there as one unified sifted force. So just something else I'm thinking of. But thank you, Remission Author. That's awesome. Again, if you have a question, give it to us and we'll answer it. What else we got here in Twitch? Immortan Joe, thank you for Twitch Prime. He says, you have to get back to taking care of my newborn, but just popped in to give you my Prime sub. Thank you. I'll catch the archive tomorrow. It will be there, Immortan Joe. Level 1 emotes, thank you. And I think this is all the stuff we were talking about before. Yeah, definitely a smaller audience today on a Thursday. TV Hardy, thank you for Twitch Prime. Any more in here before we get going? Eric Carmena says Asha is cleaning up Phil's mess. It kind of is. That is kind of what's happening.
Yep.
And again, I was calling for his head for a long freaking time.
Although it was funny to see Schreier. I don't know if you saw Schreier's video about what's going on at Xbox, but he basically he had talked to some Microsoft Xbox developers that were basically like, yeah, it looks really bad, but we know that Phil has our backs, and then he was fired. He left or what? That all went
whatever
down,
happened.
That all went down 2 weeks after that comment was made. So,
yep.
Also, and Schreier did seem to be a little skeptical of that claim in the first place. So,
yeah.
Although Phil did seem to do his best to not shut anything down that wasn't totally necessary, but they are overextended at this point, given how things are performing. Somebody was asking about Starfield and how that was doing, and I was like, well, it's made almost $4 billion since it's been out, and they're like, well, how is that compared to Skyrim? And so I look at Skyrim.
No game. It's not fair to compare any game to Skyrim.
Skyrim sold 60 million copies. In the first month,
I almost spit up my water.
It was some crazy number. I should look up the actual number.
Crypto Cody, I like seeing this. A super chat where he or she says, Cody's probably a guy, says, found you guys via YouTube 2 months ago. So somebody did find us from YouTube. That's really good to hear, Cody. That makes me feel good, man. Thank you for one, for the super chat, and two, for telling me that. I appreciate that.
Skyrim has sold 60 million copies as of 2023. In 2011, Skyrim made $1 billion in its first 30 days. So in 3 years, Starfield has made about a third of the money that Skyrim did in 1 month.
Yeah.
probably not what you were thinking about when you paid $7 billion for Bethesda, right?
No, not at all. You're right. JM Rain, thank you for Twitch Prime. Appreciate it. Emperor Dread, thank you.
I always wonder, and I don't know if there's an actual answer to this question, because I played Morrowind, I played Oblivion, I played it. Why did Skyrim explode the way it did?
I don't know.
Because forever I thought that like the Elder Scrolls stuff was just going to be sort of, I mean, it wasn't niche really, it was popular, it sold millions, but I never would have thought any of them would ever break out into mainstream the way, and Skyrim just did it immediately.
It really did.
Like, what was that?
I don't know.
What did that?
I don't know. It's not like the game
has
great onboarding,
and it's not like it was super different or like they utterly.
I mean, it's really good. It got good reviews.
Absolutely, but
there's lots of games
it was
that
instant.
get good reviews.
It didn't. It wasn't word of mouth. It was
it just went
it just boom. And I'm like, what did that?
I think it's probably an accumulation of interest in the Elder Scrolls, prior games.
But I didn't know anyone who cared about Oblivion.
Yeah.
Outside of like our hardcore and like journalism circles, and then all of a sudden everyone I knew was talking Skyrim, and I'm like, was it just a really effective advertising campaign?
Could be.
Like
sometimes that works. Yeah.
I don't know. I would love to know like if anyone's ever gone into in depth on why Skyrim blew up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And immediately, it wasn't like a slow burn thing. It was like, no, Skyrim was a hit that immediate
Only
moment.
Bethesda knows. Eric,
I don't
thank you
think
for your
they
streak.
do.
Yeah, maybe not, because they can't replicate it.
Yeah, we don't know yet because they haven't made another one, but they can't replicate it with another game so far.
Yep. Jowzimpit, thank you for Twitch Prime. Maybe you could phonetically tell us how to say your name, so eventually we'll say it right. But I keep trying. Jowzimpit. Thank you. People talk about your cat. Too Quick Capri, thank you for Twitch Prime. That's awesome. To Limper, thank you as well. And I think that's it. That's the beginning of the chat for today. As always, if you wait for a little bit of a break to drop us your Twitch Prime, we'll be sure to thank you for it here on the show. We do that every freaking time. Just like we're the only people who recognize Twitch Prime people. In Pactor Factor, we have a crawl. Every single one of you that give us your Twitch Prime, whether you're doing it here on GameFace or you're doing it because Pactor asked you to, you end up in the scroll on the bottom of Pactor Factor. Nobody else does that. There's no other publication that recognizes publicly every single person who gives us their Twitch Prime sub. And we do that because we appreciate you and you help us. So thank you. Noctis88 giving us a $5 super chat. Thank you. Found this show last year. It's my favorite. Thank you, Noctis.
You've inadvertently started a save the YouTube stream.
Yes, I think we kind of
here.
did, actually. Yeah. Look, you guys are going to learn if you've just discovered us. I am like Mr. Honest. Like, sometimes to a fault. Like, I'll tell you the truth about what's going on. I don't like to blindside anybody over anything. So thank you guys for all these super chats. I'll definitely consider that, But again, when we started on YouTube, it was great. Our YouTube revenue went up significantly the first month and a half. And then after that, it just all stopped. And since then, we've literally had some of the lowest YouTube payouts we have ever had. Ever.
Lord, what to do when the romance is gone.
Seriously. Yeah. Let's scroll down to the bottom here. Maybe some people jumped in. Erebus, I love the idea of TLDR, but as somebody who watches the full fat GameFace, it's not a program for me. Yeah, it wasn't for you. Like, it was never made for people who love the full GameFace. It was made for people who didn't have time to watch the whole GameFace. So yeah, I understand it. Like, people like you, Erebus, you've been on the site since day one, since the beta. Like, I know you love GameFace just like it is, and that's why we'll never change what GameFace is. TLDR was a spin-off of the show and not the main show. It'll never be the main show. Swanland. But see, that's the other thing. He says, hit your takes while they're still hot. That's the other thing we were doing with TLDR is it was going up way earlier. Like, it was going up 2 days after our stream. And normally it would be at least 3 or 4 days before GameFace goes up. But that didn't matter. Like, we'd put it up. People just either didn't watch it or didn't end up in their feed, and they just watched the full episode like they always did. So, yeah. Oh, Noctis just joined SIFTD All Access. Thank you, Noctis. That is awesome, man. Thank you. I mean, that's what we need to do is start pushing YouTube subscriptions more. Pushing people to sub on YouTube instead of asking them to go to Patreon.
I was watching he's a YouTuber he beats quote unquote games no one ever beat. So he plays like old vintage games that are hard to finish.
Yeah.
Grand Pooh Bear is his name. And during this, he does live streams. Then he does cut downs of live streams for his YouTube videos. Basically.
Yeah.
And during his live streams, you'll see people like give him beats. Like, no, I hate bits. Don't give me bits. Subscribe. I want your subscription.
I like joking, but still.
Oh yeah, he yells.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because he's in the middle. He's died 45 times in the same thing in Silver Surfer for the NES. So he's like he's furious about everything. So everyone kind of like just lets it slide. But I know sometimes he gets really, really honest about what he actually wants, and it's subs. He wants subs.
So Crypto Cody gave us another super chat for $5. Thank you. And he has a suggestion. I think the Gaming Sphere algorithm on YouTube is based on frequent news updates. You may want to supplement Weekly Pod with short topical news posts. Thank you, Cody. Appreciate that suggestion. We have tried a lot of things, but I do think we have not tried like a daily news hit. Mm-hmm. Well, actually, we did.
You kind of did.
We did. We had for years. We did like the Big Six. We had a guy Tokyo, who is one of our sifters, who was cutting that for us, and that went up 3 days a week, and they really did nothing. And they were going up. Those were not exclusive to our Patreon at all. We were putting them up on our YouTube channel the day.
Right. But what you need to do for stuff like that is you need to just have a webcam set up that you turn on, talk to for 5 minutes, and then throw it up.
I know. Yeah.
You can't worry about production value for that.
I mean, and that is a big problem. I do care about production value. And that goes back to what I was saying earlier about how I look at it is like people are paying for our content, so I expect it to be better than the average stuff. But
look at what people pay for.
No, you're right. Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
No, you're right.
There was a time, if you remember, when we started working in television, the idea of hard cutting to the same shot.
Oh, of a jump cut?
Oh, you would have been fired.
You'd have been fired. Yeah, if we did, back when we worked in TV.
Now it's everything.
Everything is that way.
Now it's just a basic editing style now.
Yeah. I still hate
Things change.
Yeah, things do. That's a big change. Because you're right. We would have been fired. Jump cuts were fireable offenses working in television.
Like Brian Vance would have looked at us like we had lobsters crawling out of our ears.
I still don't use them. I still won't use them.
I don't prefer it.
I cut stuff all the time.
But it's like, when you switch to a streaming model where people only had one camera, you didn't have a B cam to cut to, you didn't have B-roll to cut to, so that people just started doing that. And that is a basic way of visual communication now.
It's really crazy. Yeah.
I mean, there was a time when you didn't move the camera.
It's true. Yeah.
Things evolve, and like the evolution doesn't always feel like you're going forward.
That's true. We've definitely learned that. Stealthy SA says it's unfortunate we live in a TikTok generation where people won't watch more than 2 minutes. I mean, you're right. Like the younger audience, but we aren't really looking. We're not trying to reach the tween.
Yeah.
Like
it's either that or like the crazy long, like the 9-hour Fallout 3 review.
Yeah.
YouTube video that has like 4 million views, and you're like, what? Okay.
It's like you're right. The tweens are that way, but the tweens don't have any money. They're not going to subscribe to our Patreon or subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like it's pointless for us to go after them. They can build a mass audience, and that's good for SIFTD.net, where we just want people to go and check out the day's news and whatnot. But for our content, it's probably not smart for us to target those folks. We need a game player for GTA 6 at this point. Yeah, from Neville. Next level. Shh. Yeah, I think it's going to happen soon.
Mm-hmm. One would hope.
Yeah.
I'd like to see if this thing's going to play like anything.
Yeah.
Because my concern about GTA 6 is that it's just Rockstar doing Rockstar again.
Yeah. Which is quite possible.
Which does fine, obviously, in the market, but I find it rather clunky and sort of boring, and I could stick with Red Dead Redemption 2 for longer because I think the setting is more interesting.
Yeah.
But another modern crime story is not very intriguing to me.
Yeah.
So you better have a hook here, boys.
Yeah. Swallen clarified what he said earlier. He says, I meant instead of having it as a YouTube app, have it be audio for podcast services like Spotify. Dude, we're already there. We're on every podcast service. I talk about Spotify all the time on the show.
He means like the TLDR ones, the shorter ones.
They're on podcast services too. They're in the same feed as GameFace. So they're on all of them. They're on Apple Podcasts. They're on, Stitcher's now, Pandora. It's on Pandora, Spotify, all of them. iHeartRadio. This show, GameFace, and TLDR are on every podcast service already. They're already there. Oh, and I think that might be it. We do need to move on. Norix Nessie 94. Thank you for Twitch Prime. That's awesome. And any more Twitch Prime? Otherwise, we got to get a move on here. Marketing for me, simplified gameplay and features. Not talking about Game of Thrones. Oh, it's a nickname for Jow. John in Portuguese. Forget the rest. Okay. Thank you very much. I'll just have to remember that your name Jow. Can you remember that?
Is that how you pronounce that in Portuguese?
I
don't think you pronounce the J like that. I think it would be more
how?
Like yao.
Yao? How?
I don't know. I don't know Portuguese.
Yeah, me either.
Sideways Spanish.
Sleeping Turtle 3, thank you for Twitch Prime. That's awesome. Sleeping Turtle 3 says, hi, Shane and Matt. Love you both. Wish you both the best. Same to you, Sleeping Turtle. Love you, brother. Thank you for your support all through the years. What has ChatGPT told you to do?
I will.
Yeah, Vincent says it's tough to A/B test much of anything.
I will remove you and make it look like an accident.
Yeah, the only thing you can A/B test on YouTube is the title of the video. I do mess with that a little bit.
I saw an amazing post yesterday where somebody was talking about how they didn't have ChatGPT available, or they were using it too much, so they decided to take a break.
Mm-hmm.
And they realized at one point that they could just ask ChatGPT things in their head. And so they were in their bedroom, and the cat was scratching at the door, and they're like, why? Like, why? I can't ask ChatGPT why the cat is scratching at the door. So I asked the ChatGPT in my head, and the voice in my head said, cats often scratch at the door if they want to be let out or they want different. I'm like, did dumb fuck just rediscover thinking?
and labeled it
as... What the fuck are we doing?
Oh, man. Bushy Wookie, credit to you for all the work you do and the things you try. Maybe the hardest working man in video game journalism. Maybe. I'd like to see somebody who works more than... I actually don't want to see somebody that works more than me because it's not healthy. I hope I am.
But I was told everyone who works hard gets rich.
No, that is not the truth. You can probably stay employed and survive.
But men with ties told me
right. That. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's
not true. Men in ties wouldn't lie to us, would they?
Yep. What else we got here? Oh, sorry if you misunderstood my point. It wasn't for me. Okay. Even the 2-day lag was too much. Yeah, I mean... I broached like just publishing it day and date with our patrons, and they didn't seem too into that. I got them to kind of agree to 1 day, but yeah, it's not good enough.
Yeah, Schreier's videos are literally just him talking to the camera.
Yeah, but the difference there is that he has like 8 million followers on Twitch. So he just says, hey, I have a new video, and like 10% of his audience goes and watches it, and he has 100,000 views.
But that would have to be how he does it because it's not as engaging.
Oh, I've tried to watch like the first video that he put up. Sorry. I like Jason, but sorry.
Oh, yeah. He's not a presenter.
He needs to type it out. Yeah, he's not a presenter. That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
But his information is still good.
Yeah, of course. Crazy valuable. He's such a huge beat reporter. Yeah.
Like, it's probably good that he does that format.
Yeah.
For it, even if it's not the ideal way to consume it. Like, it probably reaches people who wouldn't read.
It wouldn't be worth it for him to put a bunch of resources into it.
No, absolutely not.
It would be silly.
It has to be something that he can just do and throw up and call it a day.
Yeah, it's like somebody could approach him and say, hey, like, just send me the file and I'll gussy it up. That's not going to change his views at all. It won't matter.
It's just going to take more time.
Yeah. Surly Mexican, thank you for Twitch Prime. That's awesome. What else we got here? Men in Ties push an insolvent company to IPO. Yeah, exactly. And then make billions of dollars. Yeah, never made a penny. Yep. Okay, looks like we got to the end of chat. Thanks to everybody on YouTube for those super chats. You guys are awesome. Really appreciate it. And don't think that like I brought up the whole YouTube thing hoping that you guys would do that. That was not the case at all. I'm just keeping you guys informed and letting you know kind of what's going on and how we're thinking about that stuff. But I'll say this. Those super chats don't hurt when I'm kind of considering what I'm going to do. So thank you very much.
And for the people saying that story is satire, there's no way to know.
Which story is satire?
The thing I said about the ChatGPT in your head.
Oh.
It could be. I'd like to think it is. But I assure you, I have seen dumber things.
Well, here's the thing about it, is that, like, you believe it.
And I don't know if I believe it.
I mean, I believed it.
But it's close enough to real to not matter anymore.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it shows you that how close we are to it, that people are willing to believe it. That's bad enough. Mm-hmm. That's where we're at. People are turning off their brains and trying to use AI.
And for fuck's sake, if everyone else can go around and be like, oh, I'm going to have an AI hallucinate advice for my life, like I can think that story's got a plausible chance of being real, fuck you.
Exactly. All right. We are ready to get on with the heart of GameFace episode 484. But of course, before we do that, here's a word from our awesome sponsor, LS Cream. It's LS Cream, the fine cream liqueur crafted by fellow gamer and sifter, Stevens Charles. Inspired by the Haitian drink Cré Mas, LS Cream delivers an award-winning experience with every single pour. One sip and you'll see why. It's a party favorite. The silky blend of fresh cream and premium neutral grain spirits mixes great with everything. I dare you to put a shot in your coffee. I've been drinking it for years and still, I find new combinations that taste incredible. LS Cream is the kind of drink that keeps surprising you, thanks to its notes of vanilla, cinnamon, nutmeg, and coconut. Take it to any gathering and watch it steal the spotlight. We've never seen anyone resist. Ready to join the fan club? Head to creamls.com/sifted for recipes, retailers, and online orders. That's creamls.com/sifted. That's right, Sifters. Go to creamls.com/sifted and sign up for the LS Cream 5K Challenge. You can win $5,000 if you come up with a really cool drink. Post a picture on Instagram and make sure you tag LS Cream. Also, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Stevens Charles, who was just here about a month ago, he has his own podcast that he does like every week with a crew of his friends in Montreal. And every once in a while, I'll just be working and I'll get a phone call from Stevens Charles and he'll just put me on speakerphone and just put me into his podcast. Last week, I think I talked about Final Fantasy VII Part 3. So anyway, check them out. Like, they talk about games, they talk about movies and stuff like that more than we do here on GameFace. But check out their podcast if you can. Don't forget his name is Stevens Charles from LS Cream. And go to creamls.com/sifted and get yourself a bottle or 2 or 3. Make yourself a drink and win $5,000. All right. It's time to move on. And we're going to start off the show with the Video Game Town headline of the week. Video Game Town is an awesome independent gaming website, much like Sifted. Instead of being a news aggregator and content aggregator like we are, they work in all original content and specifically the written word. And I'll just say that that is something it feels like is going away and it needs to stay. And I have a lot of respect for what Video Game Town is doing. Go to videogame.town. Yes, that is the URL. What they're doing is, as these legacy publications go out of business, and my guess is there might be 1 or 2 that happens to before the end of 2026. When that does happen, they're swooping in and they are getting those writers and they are paying those writers a much higher rate than they're getting at the publication they probably just left. So if you want to support independent games journalism, great writing from some of the greatest writers in the industry, go to Video Game Town. And what they do is they sponsor a segment here on GameFace where we tackle the big news story of the week. And I'll give everybody one freaking guess what we're going to talk about for the Video Game Town headline of the week. Of course, it is reportedly the impending closures of Double Fine, Compulsion Games, and Ninja Theory. Matt, what was kind of your first knee-jerk reaction when you started hearing about this?
Well, those first 2 didn't surprise me. Ninja Theory was a little surprising because they just showed a new game.
Like a week before.
Yeah.
And now news is coming out that they knew that they were thinking about cutting them.
They were. It sounds like that might have been a, hey, maybe somebody wants to buy us. Look at what we're doing.
Now, Microsoft owns the IP, the Hellblade IP. My guess is they're probably in negotiations right now on and maybe thinking about giving the IP.
Yeah, I imagine
to Ninja
Microsoft
Theory.
Would not have any use for that.
If they're going to let the studio go that makes the game.
studio go, and also, I imagine with the studio goes that woman who does all the acting for her, because she's.
I totally forgot about that, actually.
So like that would be pretty tough to redo because like you're. I mean, they probably do have her likeness locked down for that character, but like that would be the audience wouldn't respond well to that. Like them like basically recreating this woman. Or maybe she wouldn't feel good doing work for Microsoft.
Like,
yeah, she is her. I mean,
that's who she is.
And also, like, what would after the performance of Hellblade 2, do you really want to double down on this thing?
Right.
You know, like, if you're Microsoft, like I can see why Ninja Theory would believe in it, but I don't think Microsoft would.
I mean, I think Ninja Theory's smart in making it more of a mainstream action-driven game. And I think that will make it more likely to be scooped up by somebody else. But that's not going to happen unless they get the IP. Because Ninja Theory has no other IP that it owns. It's always been kind of a... I mean, you could make Heavenly Sword too, maybe? Does it own Heavenly Sword?
I'm going to guess Sony owns that.
That's my guess too. So I don't think it really owns... We've talked about this before on GameFace about how important it is if you're a studio to create and make sure you own your own IP, because otherwise you have nothing. We talked about this when Blue Point was closed.
I think they have... do they own... Maybe Microsoft owns that. Do they own Ninja Blade or whatever that was?
I don't know.
Remember that Xbox 360 thing?
Vaguely.
Which of that... Didn't they make that? Was that them?
I don't know, actually. I really don't know.
Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else.
But they don't own any IP. And that means that, honestly, you have very little value because all you have are the employees, and the employees can go anywhere they want and work anywhere they want. We've learned this.
Enslaved.
Okay.
That was the other thing.
Yeah.
And Kung Fu Chaos. I remember Kung Fu Chaos.
I do remember that.
Kung Fu Chaos. I remember I went to a Kung Fu Chaos or something. Maybe it was Heavenly Sword. I went to a something with them before they did Heavenly Sword. And I guess we gave Kung Fu Chaos a good review, and they all knew what XP was. They were all loved us because
great.
we gave Kung Fu Chaos a good review, and they were like they were super nice to everybody. And then later it was like, oh, look at that. Look at that. But they've actually been around for longer than you think. It'd be a shame to see them shut down.
Well, they've been working on other people's stuff. Like they made DMC Devil May Cry. Capcom owns that. Which
just also pretty damn good. I know people don't like it because of the changes to everything. But like as a game, it's solid.
If you don't own Hellblade, or they don't own Hellblade, there is no reason to buy Ninja Theory at all. Why would you buy them and pay any money when you could just hire their developers and not have to pay anything other than their salary, which is what you're going to have to pay anyway if you acquire the studio. So I'll be honest, unless they can figure out a way to get Microsoft and Xbox to give them the Hellblade IP, Ninja Theory is probably done for.
Yeah.
But I do think that's probably a big part of the negotiations that are going on right now with Xbox. That's probably the only thing that's being negotiated right now because they don't really have a leg to stand on. Their last game didn't sell very well. It didn't drive Game Pass subscriptions. So they don't have like a lot of leverage to use in negotiations. So it sucks. This is a studio that does stuff that other studios aren't doing. This game was all about psychology and psychosis. What other studio is going to do that with a AAA game, with a big budget game?
Well, that's the thing is these aren't big budget games.
Yeah, theirs aren't.
That was the whole point.
Yeah, their whole thing was we're AAA indie. But then they took 6 years to make Hellblade 2, which meant that at the end they were not, in fact, a AAA indie. They ended up just being a AAA studio.
Which is strange because I assumed it was taking so long because they were reinventing the game so hard.
Yeah.
They were basically going to make it like a God of War hybrid.
Or like what the third one's going to be, right?
Sure, but you also wouldn't need that long to do that.
Right, yeah.
But I figured they were turning into something really new and different. And it wasn't.
They didn't.
It was just it was almost more of a walking simulator.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think there is a place for, because I will say, a lot of the people I know who are more casual players know Hellblade and like Hellblade. Yeah. It definitely broke containment. I don't think the second one capitalized on that properly, but the third one maybe, now that you know what you're doing, and who knows what weird shit happened internally with Microsoft and what they thought it should be versus what Ninja Theory thought it should be, etc. I would certainly like to see them get another shot at it, maybe this time without the interference of Microsoft.
Yeah. They might be able to try to work out a deal with the publisher that wants to buy Ninja Theory and sell the license to that publisher along with Ninja Theory.
Somewhat. As I understood it, at the very least, they and Double Fine are trying to become independent. And again, some of that might be, you're talking to the new management. It's not the new management's fault that any of this stuff happened, but you could probably make the argument that the deal is not what we were offered when this happened, and the mismanagement of the brand in general after the purchase was just sort of.
Yeah,
it's such a complete debacle that you sort of want to be like, hey, why don't we just kind of go our separate ways, and we'll take our Hellblade thing that you guys clearly don't want. You're not going to have Rare do this or anything. We're just going to go take our thing and go do our thing, and you don't need to close us down or anything.
They'd still be giving them the Hellblade IP, which does have value. Not that much, but some.
I can't imagine it has much value to Microsoft, to Xbox.
It definitely has more to Ninja Theory than it does to Xbox, without a doubt. Because having that IP makes them far more likely to be acquired.
Oh, sure.
Without a doubt. If that's what they want to do.
But to Microsoft, I don't think this is not something that's going to sell Xbox consoles in the future. So
no, it's not.
And to Ninja Theory, if they could go full multi-platform like they did with the first one, I think that would help them. So maybe, again, the hope, I guess, is that the current management is sort of amenable to the idea that, hey, we got to do this horrible thing. Maybe we can find a way to make it less horrible for some of these people that have been with us for so long, or some of the people that are icons in the. Do you want to be, do you want one of your first actions in office, quote unquote, to be shutting down Double Fine?
Well, that's what I really want to talk about, because to me,
that is not a feather in your damn cap.
To me, the big thing here is Double Fine. These other two studios, I care, but not like I care about Double Fine. Double Fine has been making creative, interesting, fun, awesome games for decades. And to me, of the three, they would be the biggest loss. And not necessarily because Double Fine has been putting out hit after hit. This is Kiln, their MOBA where you play as pottery. The game before this was a game called Keeper where you played as a lighthouse. It's almost like Double Fine was trying to get eliminated from Xbox's roster of studios. But here's the thing. When you have a studio like Double Fine, Kiln may not hit, but you know what? The next one might. And if it does, it could be gigantic.
You never know when the next Psychonauts is.
Right.
You never know when the next Brutal Legend is.
Yeah, or just if Kiln had hit, they would have a game as a service that has recurring revenue into infinity.
This is sort of the thing we talk about with like why EA is in such a dire strait right now is like, and Ubisoft, like you've eliminated all the smaller stuff. Like Doom didn't start as a multi-billion-dollar franchise.
Right.
It started as a shareware disc.
Yeah.
No multi-billion-dollar franchise in gaming started as that. They all started as these smaller little games that
Other than Crimson Desert.
didn't really make any sense.
Yeah.
And even Crimson Desert wouldn't exist without Witcher 3.
Yeah.
And Witcher 3 started as The Witcher.
Which was a very low-profile release.
Tiny little... It was a mod of the original Neverwinter Nights engine.
Yeah.
And boy, can you tell when you try to play that again. But, like... If you eliminate that kind of smaller, like experimental, like stuff that isn't using up the full AAA budget, you're never going to get another billion-dollar franchise.
That's my point.
That's where they come from.
It's like
and
you may
Double
not have
Fine
hit
is
these
one of
last
those
two.
places.
Yeah, like you didn't hit with these last two, but the third one could.
Yeah.
And so the other thing too about this, Matt,
Weirder things have blown up than the Lighthouse game.
Yes, absolutely. And what is happening with Game Pass? So obviously these three studios, okay, they're not making billion-dollar sellers. But they do add incentive for people to subscribe and stay subscribed to Game Pass, particularly studios like Double Fine.
Yeah, games that are like, I wouldn't buy that,
but I'd like to play
I wouldn't
it.
mind playing it for this subscription I'm already paying for.
Yep.
And it's also a reason, like,
retention.
When you think about canceling your subscription, you sort of think, well, if I did that, I wouldn't be able to play these weird things that come out. Like, that's a real thought process,
It is.
I
And
think.
so does that make you think that maybe this is tied into what Xbox is going to do with Game
that's
Pass?
kind of also what I'm saying about, like, when you're cutting that deal is like, Phil's choices were so weird in especially in hindsight of how everything worked out. That how can you really hold anyone to a normal standard on their performance in the last like 10 years when like it's all been so weird?
Yep.
Like
I agree.
Like you can't really hold Double Fine accountable for the number of copies they have or haven't sold because Game Pass was part of it.
Well, they were told to make games for Game Pass. Yeah. And they're smart people over there. When you tell them to do something, they're going to do it.
Yeah. And there's a very strong argument to be made that something like Keeper or Kiln wouldn't exist without the Game Pass.
1,000%. Yep. And so it leads me to believe that maybe Xbox is about ready to make a big announcement about Game Pass.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, no original games on Game Pass at all back catalog for like $10.
That would be a pretty big contradiction to what they just said.
Well, what did they say?
Well, every single thing in that presentation they did said play it day one on Game Pass.
Right, yeah. And I was shocked by that.
Yeah, that was surprising that they would continue to commit to that far down the line. Yeah.
But we've also learned, I think, that what Microsoft says in a press conference isn't binding. Like, it can just change its mind and just not do what it said and say, sorry, we changed our minds.
Sure, but they haven't done that so far.
I mean, if they do an about face on Game Pass, they will.
Yeah, but well, then why did they do all that?
That's why I don't understand it.
I don't think they are doing an about face on Game Pass.
You don't think so?
I think they might eventually. They're not going to do it right now.
So you think that maybe they just don't think games like this are contributing to the success of Game Pass?
Yeah, I think you're just sort of looking at your bottom line now, and these are the three studios that are not contributing to that very strongly.
Yeah. Now, we haven't talked yet about...
Doesn't mean it's a good decision, but I think that's what the mentality is. And it's probably not even something that they really want to do, but it's just like, that is step one in cutting down an overextended department, which I don't think you could argue they aren't overextended. They bought all these development studios and don't seem to really know what to do with them.
Yeah. What do you think is going to happen to Double Fine?
I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping that basically they just give it back to Tim.
I think they're just going to go independent. And see, that's the thing about Double Fine. It can do that. It can totally go back to being independent and be fine. Now, it's going to need an investor somewhere. It's going to need it's going to have to go back to trying to find publishers to publish all its games and invest in its games again. But it's been doing that for 20 years. It knows that market. It can do it. So of the three, I think Double Fine, no matter what happens, is the most likely to survive and continue being an entity going forward. And I would say that probably Compulsion Games might be second most likely.
Maybe. I mean...
It owns We Happy Few, which was its first franchise, which was, I wouldn't call it a hit.
No.
It probably made its money back on that game. This was its latest game, which was obviously a huge departure from We Happy Few, which was this weird kind of drug-fueled, like, adventure trippy game. Mm-hmm. This was a more conventional third-person action game. It just had a unique setting. I don't know if Compulsion owns South of Midnight.
Probably not.
Probably not. That'd be
I'd
my
imagine
guess.
they own We Happy, but again, I don't know what changed hands. Mm-hmm. You know, they probably. I mean, when you get bought by Microsoft, you probably sell them all of you. Mm-hmm. So I imagine Microsoft does own South of Midnight and We Happy Few, unless there's some other contract with whatever publisher published that.
Yeah.
That kept that from happening, which is possible.
In which case, maybe you're right.
Some companies did. I mean, you know, Obsidian kept private ownership of Pillars of Eternity.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Like, that's their game,
right?
Like Microsoft can't touch the previous. You know, Avowed is in the same universe, but the previous Pillars of Eternity games are Obsidian's alone,
right? Yeah.
Now that might have been because Obsidian is Obsidian.
Yeah.
I imagine Double Fine probably has some kind of deals in place related to Psychonauts as well. I don't know if Compulsion and Ninja Theory would have that kind of leverage.
If Compulsion doesn't own South of Midnight or We Happy Few, then they're just as likely to go away as Ninja Theory. Mm-hmm. I thought they might own We Happy Few because they
maybe. I mean, I think.
But you're right. Once Microsoft owns them, it owns whatever they own.
Right, but Microsoft may not. But We Happy Few may not be owned by them. It might be owned by the publisher who published We Happy
That's
Few.
That's actually true.
Which I don't remember.
That could be.
Was that 2K or was that?
I don't remember.
I remember.
It was an indie game, so it's probably one of the indie publishers. But yeah.
So I don't know what the situation is with that. Again, I don't think We Happy Few is going to save your business either. So
no.
I'm not sure.
They would give them We Happy Few. They're like, you can take it if you want it. There's really no
probably
value in that.
Too. I mean, I really like this game.
I did too.
So
yeah,
there's room for. Again, I think a lot of this just doesn't work under the model Microsoft was pushing, and probably they don't care about it now.
Yeah.
They're going to have games like this from independent sources anyway. Mm-hmm. Maybe they can strike some kind of deal where they're going to help out these guys when they're independent, but they're not financially responsible for them anymore. You know. There's reasons why you'd want these companies to still exist and still be making content for your platform. Mm-hmm. Maybe not exclusively, but it's another thing to count on. And it's a relationship you already have, and they would probably owe you something for not shuttering them instead of just letting them go. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's I do think Double Fine. I even think Double Fine. It's possible Double Fine had an escape hatch clause somewhere that basically said like you got to let us go instead of shutting us down. Because I mean, they know. You know, those guys all know the score.
They do. They've been around the industry. They've been through this. Yeah. This isn't their first rodeo at all.
It would not surprise me at all if Double Fine had something and it was just
some
like,
kind of a clause
you can't
in the
kill
deal.
Our company. You know, if you don't want us anymore, you just got to let us go.
Yeah, that could be true actually.
Especially because when they made that deal, I think they had more leverage in that regard than Microsoft did.
Maybe. Yeah.
And Phil really wanted them for this. So
yeah.
I'm hoping that. I think of the three, Double Fine has the best shot at surviving this.
Agreed.
I would, but if beyond that, I think it's pretty likely all three of them survive.
You think so?
Or at least are allowed to go off on their own. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying how long they'll live.
Right.
You know, like that's a whole different ball game. But I do believe that Microsoft, and I think Asha seems savvy and aware enough of this. I don't think you want one of your first moves to be killing these studios.
Particularly not Double Fine.
Definitely not Double Fine. But people love Ninja Theory as well.
Yeah. Double Fine, though, is a special case in the industry.
No, it is, but that doesn't make Ninja Theory not special.
Yeah.
People love Hellblade, and Hellblade was a big experiment in how indie, they broke a lot of ground with that game. Mm-hmm. And yeah, they ended up in a bad situation, but I don't think that was really their fault.
Yeah.
Compulsion is sort of a different story because they're so new. But I would argue that something like South of Midnight indicates that that's a voice you still want in the medium. Like that's a really interesting idea and a really interesting art style, and they really pulled it off. And there isn't really anything else like it. The gameplay is pretty standard, but presentationally and tonally, it's its own thing.
Yeah.
It's a valuable thing in that regard. Maybe it doesn't sell, but again, you can't judge it necessarily. Because Microsoft's system was so weird.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell. So you can make an argument that these companies, all three of these studios, deserve a shot in the normal system to see how well they sink or swim. Obviously, we know Double Fine can handle that.
Yeah.
They navigated that for many years. Ninja Theory did too. And maybe they would have been better served, managing that Hellblade sequel project a little more closely and just putting it out on their own the way they did before with the first one, because that first one was so successful for them. Compulsion, it's hard to make an argument one way or the other, because really it's just that I didn't like We Happy Few very much.
I didn't either.
But I did like South of Midnight a lot.
It's creepy and
I would
weird.
like to see them continue.
Yeah. So on the Shane Satterfield show this week, I discussed this one sort of angle of this. And one thing that sort of, and I want to get your response to it, honestly, to see what you think about it. One thing that kind of stuck with me about this is that these studios in particular, they're smaller, but they're also the ones that are creating like the really unique and creative sort of innovative games at Xbox, and they're the ones being cut. So I'm just wondering, like, the other studios, if you're under that banner after you see this, what is that telling you? Is it telling you to like toe the line and just keep making sequels and spin-offs?
I think it says two things. And first thing is Microsoft does not believe their future lies in quirky, unique games. And they're probably right. Their future probably lies in AAA blockbuster stuff. The other thing it tells me is that the fact that they're starting with these is pretty good evidence that they're maybe planning to spin them off and not kill them. Because, let's be honest, in the big picture here, shutting these 3 studios down is going to save you a rounding error.
Yeah.
If
for
you're
Microsoft
for
in particular,
this doesn't put you in the black anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't help.
Yeah.
So the only reason to start with them would basically be like establish some precedent. We're gonna have to start shutting stuff down and cutting some of the fat, and we're gonna start with these. But if you just spin them off and make them independent, if they want to go independent, that is kind of a PR win.
Yeah.
And at least signals to the industry that you're not here to be a monster.
Yeah.
That could be completely wrong.
Because I feel like there's a lot of people right now thinking that.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
I mean, who isn't ready to believe Microsoft is evil
at
any given moment? I mean, that's not a leap,
everybody,
really, in any area of the business.
Yeah.
That's been true since Windows 95, honestly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would like to think that this, because again, these things, shutting down like Obsidian maybe, or shutting down like 343. Now you're talking about cutting expenditures that are going to make a difference in the bottom line at the end of the annual report.
You're cutting to the quick at that point. Yeah.
But these guys, these are nothing.
Yeah.
And it's like one of Phil's things seemed to be like, well, I mean, it doesn't really cost us that much to keep these little things going.
Yeah.
And it gives us a bigger catalog to work from. So,
the Game Pass angle, basically. Yeah.
So from that angle, if you're going to sort of start to transition, if you expect by the time these companies put out their next game, if you are going to have transitioned off of the Game Pass model, you probably don't want them in your stable anymore.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think it means you wouldn't be willing to do a deal that lets them spin off independently.
Yeah.
They just don't fit your strategy 3-4 years down the line anymore.
That seems like the most likely outcome. Is that all 3 of these studios are going to get cut, but they're going to have a chance at least to survive.
And we'll see how long any of them do.
Because my guess is, if once you're owned by Xbox, you don't have any money in the coffers. Like,
probably no, I wouldn't.
Your bank account's empty, so you're going to need to be able to pitch something to a publisher very quickly and have them accept it and be willing to give you money.
And look, Tim Schafer can do that.
Right.
But no, Tim Schafer can do
can
that.
The other two?
I think Ninja Theory can.
Yeah.
Ninja Theory is a completely known name in the industry.
Ninja Theory might even get snatched up by like PlayStation, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, I remember there was speculation that was going to happen before they were bought by Microsoft, because they did. I mean,
they're very skilled.
They are very skilled. They did Heavenly Sword for them, and Heavenly Sword, while
partnership was already there,
did not become a big franchise. I don't think anyone argues that wasn't a good game anymore.
But I think Microsoft, if that were the case, would not allow Hellblade to go with Ninja Theory. They'd be like, nope.
Maybe
you can take the studio, but you're not taking that IP.
But again, I mean, that would be somewhat of a shame. But again, Ninja Theory can come up with their own stuff.
Yeah, they have. So, anyway, that's the latest on what's going on at Xbox right now. It feels like every week it's a soap opera.
That said, I don't think I'd want to be owned by Sony now either.
Yeah, it feels like every day there's a new thing that's happening at Xbox, and it's just the drama on SIFTD has been insane.
Well, they got to clean up. They got to clean up this huge mess.
It's crazy.
It was, Phil was sort of like, we're going to keep going. We're going to full steam ahead, and we're just going to see when we hit
what
the wall,
happens.
basically. And now clearly they want to try a different tactic, and that means there is it takes a lot of work and a lot of effort and a lot of time to turn a speeding steamship.
Yeah,
like that's. It's going to take a long. We're not going to really probably know what they're up to until like a year from now.
Yeah, that's true. Let's check in with you guys.
Maybe the next, Summer Games Fest presentation. Maybe then it doesn't say play day one on Game Pass.
Maybe, yeah. Now a lot of you guys have checked in on this already on SIFTD.net. This has been a huge topic over the last couple days on the website. But a lot of people come and watch our streams that do not spend time on SIFTD.net, and you're screwing up if you're doing that. You should be at SIFTD. But if you're not, then this is all new to you guys. Let's see what you guys are saying about it. Ninja Blade FromSoft, Gustav Jungdahl says. Interesting. David, you're welcome for the stream. Thank you,
brother. I'd be any better at that game now in a post-Dark Souls era.
Maybe. Eric Cartmenes says, I'd want to be owned by Capcom. Yeah, that's definitely... And we're going to talk about Capcom here in a minute, actually, about Capcom in general, because it's just killing it right now. We're going to try to figure out why that's happening. Quickster says, ZeniMax has also removed all job postings, and there are rumors of layoffs at Arcane and id. This looks like the beginning of a huge downsizing for Xbox.
I'll be honest, if you would, like a couple weeks ago, if you had asked me, like, who do you think the first studio to be shut down by Microsoft would be, my pick would have been Arcane.
Would it?
Because they haven't done anything that's moved any needles in
a long time.
In maybe ever?
Yeah.
I mean, not that I'm not denigrating their games. I think their games are good. Like,
yeah.
It's just like Obsidian. It's like they make this really good stuff, and it just doesn't penetrate.
Doesn't hit.
I don't understand why Prey was not a universal hit. That was a great game.
Yeah. I thought maybe Undead Labs might be one of the first ones, but
I think they're letting Undead Labs finish State of Decay 3 before they make any choices in that regard. But after that, I would not be surprised if there are some conversations.
ETH Demon is saying South of Midnight costs $60 million. That isn't small. You're right.
That is small. A lot of money for what that is.
That's a double-A budget for sure. Yeah, bordering on AAA. Mm-hmm. Yeah. As always, guys, go at SIFTD Games if you want us to see your comments. Silksnake says there are rumors also that the Forza team is getting axed by the end of the year. You mean the motorsport team, not the Horizon team.
Yeah, it'll be Turn 10, not Playground.
Yeah. ETH Demon again. All three are let go. All three die in 18 months, sadly. I'd be surprised if all three last 18 months after they leave Microsoft.
Yeah, I think Double Fine would probably survive. I think Tim Schafer has enough connections and powerful friends that there are people who want to see that company continue. I think Double Fine would survive. At least a couple more games.
Yeah. Vincent says Ninja Theory's tech is worth enough on its own for the
That is also true.
Like if you want to license out the facial tech that you're doing.
Facial tech and just the streamlining of the pipeline they've done. Not that you know by how long Hellblade 2 took, but that was one of their big things with Hellblade 1 was like how you can do this and not like break the bank or take forever.
Yep. Cinetike says Ninja Theory scaled up because of Xbox acquisition.
Yeah, they would have to shrink a lot. They would not be the company they are
They'd
now.
have to be much more lean and mean for sure. And I think that's it. Joaquin Dragoon, thank you for Twitch Prime. Vincent says Double Fine is the only one of the three that we know has the right to go independent. Okay. So he's saying that there is something in their contract.
Maybe there is. I don't know.
I
don't know if that's known or not.
Yeah. If Xbox can't get people to buy Xbox for their games, how will shutting down the one good USP Xbox has help? And he's saying unique selling proposition. Do you think those subs will just go back to buying games? No, they won't.
I would never claim that anything is going to work at this point. I mean, I think this is going to be a very slow slide into irrelevance, at least, if not oblivion, for Xbox.
Yeah.
Right now, it's basically just a waiting game until Microsoft is ready to admit that the Xbox thing is done.
Yeah.
As a hardware platform. I think Xbox could exist as a publishing arm forever.
Forever, yeah. And be like the best publisher in the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. But for whatever reason, they seem fixated on being a hardware platform.
Yeah.
And I guess we're gonna do this again.
Yeah, it looks that way. So anyway, that's the latest on Xbox, and my guess is 5 more things are going to happen before we're back here next Wednesday. Because it's just the way it is at Xbox
In fact,
right
let
now.
me check the feed right now.
Seriously, though. I mean, literally something could have happened, already. So, it's really kind of teetering on the brink at Xbox. It's going to be interesting to see what Asha ends up doing. But I think bottom line is, like, you're going to see big time layoffs here coming very, very soon. And a lot of that's going to coincide with when Microsoft's financial reporting happens, like when the quarter ends and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see when it happens, but it's definitely coming. Sadly, there's a lot of people that are going to lose their jobs here in the very near future. And there you go. That's the Video Game Town headline of the week. Again, don't forget, go to videogame.town if you want to see excellent writing around video games. All right. Let's move on. We're going to talk next, and I mentioned when we started the show that there's going to be a little bit of cleanup on aisle E3 in this episode. We're going to talk about some things from not E3 Summer Game Fest. We're also going to talk about some games that slipped through the cracks, but some of the first data came out around all the presentations at Summer Game Fest. And Matt, I have to admit, I was a little surprised to find out that Nintendo was the most viewed of all the Summer Game Fest press conference, presentation, whatever the hell you want to call them, directs. It was the most watched. Are you surprised at that?
Not really.
No?
It's Nintendo.
Yeah, but
people love the Nintendo.
They love the Nintendo, but you would figure that PlayStations would easily be the most popular because they have first-party stuff that everybody loves, and it's kind of the outlet where you go to see all that you would think to see the hot third-party stuff. Though, I was impressed, actually, with how much content Xbox got out away from PlayStation. I was surprised how many third parties worked with Xbox on the showcase. So it did a pretty good job stacking its show, I thought, ultimately. PlayStation show, I didn't think it was all that great. And consequently, the order of the viewership for the press conferences, one was Nintendo. Summer Game Fest, Jeff Keighley's thing, was right behind, like really close. I think it had I think Nintendo had an extra 100,000 viewers over Summer Game Fest. And then there's a huge drop, and then it's PlayStation and then Xbox. I know one thing, Xbox did really horrible. In fact, only 800,000 people stuck around to watch the Gears of War thing out of 2.5 million people or something like that. So they got a huge drop-off. I don't know what they're thinking now is going to happen with Gears of War E-Day when people didn't want to stick around and watch it.
I mean, what are you watching at that point?
Yeah.
It's just Gears.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's but it's it's Gears. If I'm interested, give it to me. If I'm not going to watch that. You know, I don't think that's necessarily an indication of, because I am interested to play that game, but I sure as hell didn't watch the half hour of here's how Gears works again.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, here's the data. It comes from analytic firm Level Up, and it claims that Nintendo Direct reached a peak of 3.8 million viewers, and the Summer Game Fest presentation hit 3.7. So they're basically the same, but Nintendo slightly won. And then it says that PlayStation State of Play hit a peak of 2.9. So a full million people less, basically, from Nintendo's. That's kind of crazy. And then the Xbox Showcase reached 2.2 million. And then, as I said, the Gears of War E-Day Direct dropped down to 800K. Peak. Can you glean anything from this information at all?
Nintendo fans are more likely to watch the Direct as it happens, I guess.
Yeah. That's it, you think?
Pretty much. I mean, I don't think you can really judge a whole lot by how many people watch these things. They're very, very niche.
There also could be a lot that goes into it, like how they were promoted, where did they market it, did they market it at all?
What time did they happen?
I mean, that's the crazy part. Nintendo did its thing at 7 a.m. Pacific, and it still crushed all the other presentations.
Yeah, it's reasonable time in the morning on East Coast, and it makes it easier to watch in Europe.
Yeah, 10 a.m. on a Tuesday it was. That's not an ideal time, for sure. It definitely shows the power of the Nintendo brand, I think. And also, I think more importantly, it shows the power of Zelda. People knew that or at least thought that they were going to show a new Zelda there, whether it was Ocarina of Time or whatever. I don't think they cared. I think they showed up to see what the new Zelda looked like. That'd be my guess. So they definitely didn't show up for Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave or Xenoblade Genesis or Splatoon Raiders.
No, you're probably, in general, you're showing up for Mario, Zelda, and new Pokemon.
Yeah. And people knew that there was going to be a Zelda something.
And Pokemon's generally its own thing anyway. So.
Yeah. And so I was actually
kind of surprised. Or just to see what the next half of the year looks like, because we didn't know anything about that, really.
Yeah.
Beyond Fire Emblem in September.
I think it's also a testament to what a job Jeff is doing, though. That Jeff's presentation beat both Xbox and PlayStation and almost beat Nintendo.
Well, it's also because, like, you don't know what's in his presentation, whereas, like, I think people are kind of tired of, like, watching Sony stuff and waiting for some more info on the same 4 games that have been in development for 5 years.
Yeah.
And then you've got, it's like, what? Because we knew what was in that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No.
There's Luna saying hello to the crew.
Yeah, whereas an Xbox, like,
it's Xbox. The built-in interest just isn't there anymore. People aren't going to tune in if they think a whole presentation is going to show them what's coming to Game Pass.
Yeah, and you did kind of end up in the same boat as you. It's like, here's Forza, here's Halo, here's Gears.
We're right back in that cycle again.
Oh, Forza, but Fable's back. It's like, oh.
But that's the way it always was. Fable would show up every 3 or 4 years, and the other 3 would just keep rotating in and out. And that's what I'm saying. It feels like that's what Xbox is trying to get back to when it was failing.
But it was boring.
But it has more now. Like, now it has Call of Duty and all these other studios, so they're not...
At least the Forza is more interesting now.
Right, and now the Forza's... Yeah, right. Yeah, because the Horizon's way better than Motorsport. Yeah. I agree. So I was surprised to see Nintendo won. I'm more surprised, I think, to see that Jeff almost matched Nintendo and did beat PlayStation and Xbox. And I think that does go back to what I was saying about what's going on with the marketing. Are you marketing it at all? Like, Jeff marketed the living crap out of his Summer Game Fest presentation.
You said he was too quiet about it, though.
I did, yeah. But if you go back and look at, like, his Twitter feed, I was wrong. Like, he was tweeting about it all the time, and he has so many followers that even the most insignificant tweet about Summer Game Fest was getting like 5,000 likes or whatever. So he did market it. I probably would say he still probably should have marketed it more. But Nintendo and Microsoft, like, Nintendo announced its thing the day before it happened. It didn't market it at all. And look at all those people that showed up.
Yeah, but it's Nintendo.
Amazing. It's Nintendo. I mean, that's really what
let's see Xbox do that.
The power of Nintendo compels you.
Pretty much.
That's really what's going on here.
They didn't call them Mario monks for nothing back in the day.
He didn't. So it is really funny to see after all this time that Nintendo is still maybe the most powerful brand in gaming. I know people, if you ask them what it is, they're going to say PlayStation, but is it PlayStation now?
I wouldn't say. I mean, I think it is in terms of, you talk about market share or whatever, but in terms of, like, actual, like, fan loyalty, it's absolutely Nintendo.
Yeah, it seems that way. Particularly, I think, after this last generation where PlayStation fans have kind of got screwed. Let's be honest. Like, most people bought a PlayStation 5 because they thought these...
People buy PlayStations because that's what video games are.
Yeah.
Not because they're, like, loyal to, like, the Sony in-house stuff.
I mean, dude, there are hardcore Sony fanboys,
Sure, but they aren't the people that make up the 100 million
They may be crazier than Nintendo fans, honestly.
Yeah, but how many of those are there? Hundreds of thousands?
No, there's millions, yeah.
But look how many PlayStations are sold.
Yeah. They're at 100 million.
They're nothing. They're nothing compared to the full range.
Yeah.
Like... PlayStations are video games. They play everything, and that's why Switch is working so hard to be that too, because you're rapidly approaching a situation where you can't say that anymore because Switch also has everything. I mean, GTA is on Switch as of this morning.
Is it?
Switch 2.
Wait, what?
It was in that.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Switch 2 is getting GTA 6.
What?
In that thing they showed today. No. Switch 2's logo is in there.
No. You're getting all mixed up about GTA for some reason, Matt.
No, I'm not.
We can go back and watch it.
There were people on Twitter talking about this.
No, it's not.
Oh, I don't see it there. But people were saying it was coming to Switch 2.
No, that's wrong. No.
I'll look that up while you...
That's wrong, Matt. I don't know who told you that, but you should drop them as a source.
Nobody told me that. I just saw it being discussed.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I mean, I really thought that Nintendo had sunk to second behind PlayStation, but no, it's still Nintendo after all this time. Obviously, the Switch, I think, was a big driver of that. A lot of people got back on the Nintendo train with the Switch, so I think they're just kind of riding that goodwill from everybody really enjoying the time that they had with their first Switch, even if maybe they're not enjoying the Switch 2 as much as they did the first one. So, yeah, Nintendo ended up dominating. Not E3 Summer Game Fest 2026, even though it seemed like it didn't even want to participate when it announced its direct the day before it happened. So it's Nintendo's world. Apparently, we're all just swimming in it, trying to make sense of it all. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, my guess is, Matt, eventually the Switch 2 version will probably come out for Grand Theft Auto 6 because they'd be stupid not to. But
no, I guess somebody lied about it and it got picked up.
That's Grand Theft Auto 6.
Yeah.
There's just all kinds of BS flying around.
That happened. That also happened yesterday with a leak of there's a Godzilla Lego set coming, and one of the major Godzilla fan sites ran an article about it, and they used pictures of a fan created Lego Godzilla. And the pictures of that fan-created Lego Godzilla got picked up by all the outside news sites saying this is the Lego Godzilla that's coming out this fall.
Yeah.
And now you can't. The image of the fan-made one is inseparable from the news about the official one. And it's people are speculating that they might have to announce the official one sooner than they thought to get to head that off.
Right. Yeah.
Because nothing
They're going to take
be
the SEO.
because nothing can be believed anymore.
I mean, that's the internet.
And again, the article at the very end of it says, "Oh, by the way, these images are not of the actual set; it's of a fan creation we found on the Lego Ideas site or something."
Yeah.
And it's like, you didn't want to lead with that. You just plastered this thing of it. It's so misleading now.
My guess is the PC version of Grand Theft Auto 6 is announced very quickly after the Xbox and PlayStation versions come out, and then probably 6 months after that they'll announce the Switch 2 version. That'd be my guess, but
maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, you assume the PC version will obviously exist, but they don't have to do anything.
No, they don't have to do anything. They can do whatever the hell they want. That is 100%
My
true.
guess is that the PC version gets announced after they feel that the console versions are finished.
Thoroughly milked.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Not thoroughly milked, but finished.
Yeah.
We'll see what this. You'll see if it launches.
You mean all the DLC and all that kind
not
of
DLC.
stuff?
I mean fixed.
Oh, any broken stuff cleaned up.
We'll see what condition it's in when it launches.
Yeah, who knows?
I mean,
after 13 years, you'd hope it'd be pretty
You would
polished.
hope, but you never know.
You really don't.
Rockstar usually does launch a pretty solid product.
Yeah.
I don't remember any glaring problems with Red Dead 2.
Yep. What's up, Luna?
But I think everybody is a little wary of a Cyberpunk situation when any major game like that releases now.
Yep. All right, so there you go. That is the rundown on the winners and losers of Not E3 2026 / Summer Game Fest. Next up, we have a word from one of our awesome sponsors, the Repair app.
Cracked phone screen, stuck zipper, busted bike, borked HDMI port, persnickety PlayStation? Don't toss it, boss it with the Repair app. The mission is to build a world where repair is the norm, not the exception. Snap a pic, describe the issue, and find local pros ready to fix it fast. It's not a marketplace, it's a movement that saves your stuff, your sanity, and the planet. No fees, no credit cards, no data collection, no stress. Just fast and fabulous fixes. Track your items and the repairs, log warranties, build a repair history, and become the hero your stuff deserves. Fight landfill guilt, save some cash, and support local business all at the same time. And best of all, it's free. Join the Repair app waiting list today at therepair.app and be among the first to get access. Fix it, keep it, repeat, because trash is so last century.
That's right, people. The big news is that the Repair app is now an app. You can go, and I actually just downloaded the Repair app this week and started messing around with it. You can go on the App Store, you can go on the Google Play Store. It is there. Download it. Make sure, and I will say this too, make sure you search for the Repair app, because there's another app just called Repair app, and it's just like this piece of junk. So make sure that you search for the Repair app, and you can download the app, and you can start getting your stuff fixed. The website is still there too, which is therepair.app. Again, really cool how you can mess with URLs for websites now. But yeah, download the app. Find some stuff that you have in your closet that's broken, doesn't work anymore. I started poking around looking at repairs for my Nintendo 64. The outport on the back of it is busted. And so I was looking if I could find somebody locally who might fix it or whatever. And of course, I have the awesome Analog 3D that Matt gave me already. But yeah, all you do is you go in, you put in your zip code to tell them where you are. You list you search for a product. It'll bring up a list of products for you to choose from that are already in the app. You tap on it, put in your zip code, and it'll search for a repair place nearby. They have added 5,000 repair locations in America. They've also added a bunch in France. That is where the app is centered, is in France. So if you're in the US or you're in France, get the app, start using it. They're going to expand. They're going to get more repair places as time goes on. They're going to expand into new territories. Get the repair app. Start fixing your stuff instead of throwing it away. All right. Next up, we're going to talk about Capcom. I hinted at this a minute ago about how we're going to talk about what Capcom is doing. And what Capcom is doing is it's killing it. It is unstoppable at this point. Every game it releases sells 5-6 million units. Every game it releases ends up selling more than people expected them to sell.
Did Pragmata sell well?
Pragmata hit 1 million in the first month, and we haven't had an update since then. So I will say that I'm a little bit nervous that the sales did not continue, but we don't know. They said it sold like 1 million within like the first 30 days, which pretty much will probably seal a sequel, I would say.
Yeah, that's pretty good for a new IP with such an esoteric setting and etc.
And if you played it till the end, you know that that game was made and set up for a sequel. And let me tell you, an earth-shattering sequel, I would add. So basically, what happened this week is that somebody started looking at Capcom's business and asked Capcom, what did it do? What change did you make to go from being just another third-party publisher, like all the other third-party publishers, to being the leader? And I think a lot of people expected Capcom to say, oh, well, we just started investing more money in our games, or we set up this studio, or we changed this, or we did that, or we did not follow the service game trend like a lot of other publishers did. I think that's what people expected to hear. Instead, Capcom told the interviewer that basically what it did was it completely bailed on the great man theory. And the great man theory is basically a concept in business that says you have a luminary and you let them run everything and rule everything. You find somebody who's truly great and you let them handle it all. So basically what Capcom's saying is people like Shinji Mikami, Miyamoto-san, Inafune, all these people that have been these legends in the games industry development scene for decades at this point, we ditched that whole concept and started focusing on the team. And they said as soon as they started focusing on the team, people who had never said anything in meetings started presenting them with game ideas out of the blue and were like, hey, I've been working on this doc in my spare time for the last 3 years. What do you think? And they said that they have developed games out of that. I think that Kunitsugami
I was going to say that has to be where that
came from. And that ended up making money, by the way. That game ended up being profitable for Capcom, like every Capcom game. So, Matt, what I want to discuss here is the great man theory, because that is a big part of gaming. And I'll be honest with you, I've fallen prey to it. I mean, I'm a Miyamoto fan. Maybe Miyamoto's an anomaly in all this, though. Like,
I think Miyamoto's an anomaly because he's willing to step back and not do that.
Right, on his own.
He'll be a figurehead, but he doesn't insist on being personally involved in everything from start to finish.
Yep.
And that's why Nintendo doesn't fall victim to that.
And he started doing that pretty quickly. Yeah. Almost like right after Ocarina of Time came out. That was the last game where he was really like the lead developer, like cracking the whip on the teams.
He seems to have... like he has his favorites. Like he seems pretty involved in all the Pikmin.
Yep,
because that is
one
of his babies.
And his last one, really. That's his last new IP. But he's an anomaly. All the other guys who are quote figureheads, luminaries, whatever you want to call them.
Because Miyamoto never wanted to be a rock star.
Yeah,
and a lot of these other guys do.
Well, I mentioned Shinji Mikami specifically because he comes from Capcom, and he departed Capcom right around the time when they say they made this big shift.
As did Inafune.
Right.
Who then went and launched the most disastrous independent game release of all time, some would say.
And
Mighty Number 9.
Yeah. It's funny to mention Shinji's name while this video is being shown to the curtain, because that was from Resident Evil 4. Yeah. What timing there. But Shinji Mikami, I mean, his career hasn't nosedived since he left.
But I think you can pretty well argue that, like, he didn't matter.
Right.
Evil Within did not, despite being Resident Evil's name backwards, basically, didn't make any difference.
Yeah.
People did not follow him. They followed Resident Evil as a brand.
Capcom pushed forward with the franchise, and it has done amazing with the franchise ever since.
Because at some point you need new blood, you need new ideas, you need someone who's not afraid to do something what might be considered sacrilegious.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
I mean, I would argue that what they did in Resident Evil 7 was considered kind of sacrilegious at the time. You made it first person, you switched characters completely. It was very hard to recognize as Resident Evil. It was sort of just like a horror game again. But then they kind of brought it all around. Like they had a plan there.
Talking about bringing it all around, how about this? Shinji Mikami's last big game at Capcom, Resident Evil 4, they flip it around to go full circle, and they sell like triple what the original Resident Evil 4 sold. It's crazy. So they took Mikami's work and made it better and sold more on their own volition.
And some of that's just because there's more people to sell it to.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, the market's bigger, for sure.
But like, knowing that, recognizing how good, the premise of those games are, and that you can make them better, and not being afraid to mess with them. Yeah. Which is obviously going to be like, you can't do a remake of Code Veronica without that mentality.
Now,
nothing. You have to be able to recognize what works, what doesn't, and you have to be able to say nothing is sacred. Now, if we think we need to change this part of this game, we need to change it.
Yeah,
and they do.
And that's what you do when you have a team. Yeah. When you have multiple people saying we need to change it instead of just one dude saying.
And I think that holds true across almost all creative work.
It does. Yeah.
Because, and I have 3 words for you: Star Wars prequels.
Yeah.
Because the original films, everyone goes on. It's like, oh, because there was no plan and for the new sequels. There was no plan for the original movies either. Yeah. But you know what the original movies had that the prequels didn't?
Yeah.
A team.
Yeah, you're right.
They had his wife, Marcia, who just passed away, unfortunately. One of the greatest editors who ever worked. She's the one who saved Star Wars, by the way. Like, all these people, Dennis Muren, John Dykstra, all these guys who, founded, Ben Burt, all these guys who, like, collaborated. They were all peers. They worked together. And by the time you got to the prequels, it was just George running the show. And that's what happens.
Yeah.
No one can tell him no. No one can. He's the guiding force, and that's how you end up. That's how you end up waiting 10 years for Kojima to make something.
You're right.
It's how you end up with,
because no one will say no to it.
It's how you end up with the same thing happening over and over to Itagaki after Ninja Gaiden.
No, you're right.
Like you like the great man theory is very hard to defend in any context, both in creative work and in historical.
Seriously.
Analysis.
Yeah, I can't think of any situation in my professional life where you had one person who dictated everything and things went well.
No.
Never. Ever. Because what it does is it disenfranchises your team and the people that you're working with to make them think that they're less than and that their ideas don't mean anything.
Yeah. And no one's always right.
Right.
Especially in things where especially in a creative situation where, honestly, you're guessing most of the time.
Yeah. And you're crossing your fingers and you're hoping. Yeah.
And like you really live or die based on judgment, and judgment comes from every direction.
Yep.
There are people that are young, I could certainly tell you many stories of G4 where I'm just like, if they'd listened to us, they would not have ended up in that situation.
Yeah.
But that was not how that's not how corporations work.
Yeah.
Except apparently Capcom.
Well, the other thing I would say too is that Capcom listens to its fans.
Yeah.
Like, people wanted Dragon's Dogma 2. The first one didn't sell gangbusters, but Capcom was like, you know what? Our fans are asking for this. We're going to do it. Fans, we're asking for a remake or a remaster of Resident Evil Code Veronica. Look at what we just got at Naughty 3. We got a remake of Code Veronica. Like, it listens to fans, but not to the detriment of the company.
Right.
Like, it's smart at vetting what the fans want and figuring out whether it's viable or not, and then doing it.
But by doing that, like by giving us Dragon's Dogma 2, you buy yourself the space to do something like Kitsunigama. Or Gami.
Or Pragmata.
Or Pragmata, yeah. Like, you're like, well, like, that's weird. Like, I don't know if I care about that, but they gave me Dragon's Dogma 2 and I'm happy. Yeah. They gave me Resident Evil 9 and I'm happy. Like I'm satisfied already with what they give me as someone who wants these specific things from them. So maybe I will try this. And that seems to work.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
And now Dragon's Dogma is getting an update. Like, I never thought you'd ever see more of Dragon's Dogma 2.
Me
but
either.
Here we are.
Yep. Well, the other part of the story is that when you are so successful, so they change their strategy, they go away from the great man theory, and they start building their games with teams. Capcom becomes...
Ono, too.
Right. Ono-san's gone.
Yep. And now Street Fighter 6.
Yep.
Doing great.
Your business explodes. That gives you the opportunity and the finances to make a game like Pragmata and execute it with a big budget so that it's really good and people like it, so you have a new franchise. And this is getting back to the core of what I was talking about at Xbox.
And when you finally get around to it, you're going to finally reveal it's a Mega Man game and bring Mega Man back.
But this is what I was getting at when I was talking about Xbox, is you cut these studios that try the creative stuff, you're missing out on opportunities to strike it big with new properties. And Capcom, with the way that it's adjusted its business, has basically set it up to allow for games like Pragmata.
Yeah, like like Microsoft will never have a Kunizigami.
No, it will never have a Pragmata either again, I would
Pragmata,
guess.
yeah.
Like, I don't think we're going to see anything even in this realm from Microsoft.
And like, when you think about it, like, everything comes, you don't get Fable without that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, Fable was a weird thing that Blue Box was working on, and it was actually losing steam, and Peter Molyneux bought the company and saved it.
Yep.
That's where Fable comes from.
Yeah.
Fable was not some kind of, like, corporate mandate or some kind of pitch in a boardroom. It was something that people wanted to make.
Yep.
And that seems to be all Capcom does now, is stuff people want to make.
Yep. And my guess is Monster Hunter Stories. They were probably working with the Monster Hunter team, and one of their employees was like, hey, why don't we do a more traditional turn-based take that focuses more on story?
More on the world.
Yeah, people love this IP. Let's build some context for the people that play the other Monster Hunter games. Like now,
or like people who don't want to play Monster Hunter games but want to experience this world.
Yep.
Like, that's certainly why I play these stories.
Me too.
Games.
Yep.
I'm glad these exist, because
Capcom,
otherwise I would never play Monster Hunter, really.
Capcom is killing it, and is killing it because 10 years ago or so, it switched its strategy over to team-based development.
And I think a lot of the other stuff you listed is also part of it. But I think it's smart of them to call this out as their main.
Yeah.
Their
Because it
main
encourages
thing,
your
because it is-
teams.
Yeah.
You are giving your teams credit for your financial success.
It's because if a video game is something that a team has to work on for literal years.
Yeah.
So
I
like,
mean, you become a family, you know? Yeah.
ideally.
Yeah. Good games, you become a family.
Yeah, I certainly know there's a lot of teams that doesn't happen to.
And like
Some games are like Alf.
Yeah. And they're about to show the new Mega Man at Gamescom finally for the first time. It's going to be playable there. Like, they have, their cadence is good because they have so many games in development that people are excited about because they're listening to fans and they're listening to the people making their games.
There's really only one thing they haven't given. Well, there's one thing they haven't given me that I want, and there's one thing they haven't given the fans that they want.
What is it?
Well, the thing they haven't given me that I want is a Mega Man Legends collection.
Okay.
I want those 3 games playable in modern form.
Yeah.
The thing they haven't give the fans is Dino Crisis remakes.
Yeah. I should have known that. I should have known that's what you were going for there.
I don't care about a Dino Crisis 1 remake necessarily, although I would like to see the dinosaurs look really cool.
Yeah, me
now.
too, yeah.
I would probably play it anyway, even though I'm not a huge Dino Crisis, but
would.
I would love to see a Dino Crisis 2 remaster.
Yeah, just for the fans.
Because Dino Crisis 2, they turned it into more of an action game.
Yeah.
And I thought that was exactly the tone and pacing that a Dino Crisis game should have.
Yeah.
Not jetpacks in space. We don't ever need to mention Dino Crisis 3 again, boys. We can just walk away from that one.
Look, full disclosure, when I first got into this industry and I really started loving gaming and loving the games industry and wanted to work in the games industry, I fell prey to the whole great man theory. I followed like all the luminaries. I thought they were gods. I thought that they were the ones who drove those studios and drove those publishers. But in the end, they weren't. I was wrong.
I don't think I ever quite felt. I mean, I was obviously fans of people who made the stuff I really like.
Yeah.
I love Yu Suzuki because he made Virtua Fighter and Shenmue and Space Harrier. But I've never kind of been like, well, just because you did it before. I mean, maybe it was the Star Wars prequels that brought me to that. Where I'm just like, just because you did a thing I loved before doesn't mean the next thing you're working on is going to be any good. We know that.
Yeah.
And that's been true pretty much across the board. I'd say the only great. Well, even that's not true, because I was gonna say Ueda is the only one who's never let me down, but I didn't like Last Guardian all that much. So
I didn't either, actually.
I didn't hate. I mean, it's not like it was a bad.
It's still
game,
interesting.
But in comparison to the other stuff,
it wasn't much fun to play.
Yeah.
I like the setting and the aesthetics of it.
Yes,
but actually playing
I would watch the Last Guardian movie.
Yeah,
but I
didn't
really
like playing it that
No.
much. Majora Tom in chat says it works till it stops working, and that's how you got Monster Hunter Wilds. Now, I'll be honest with you, Tom. I really don't know what the whole deal is with Monster Hunter Wilds.
I admit I don't fully understand the problem with Monster Hunter.
Because I played it, and it's like every other Monster
Right, but it seems it's more of a post-launch support thing. It's like basically they weren't listening on that. It seems to be whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know specifics on it.
Or
I just know everyone's very angry.
It seems like they started doing things differently from what they did with Monster Hunter Worlds.
I also don't know what the reception to the new expansion announcement was. I don't know if the
overhaul
if they're
that they're doing for
excited,
next
or
year.
if they're doing what the community wants them to do, and that's what that is, or if they're ignoring them and everyone feels like, oh, they're just forging ahead and not paying attention. I haven't actually looked into that.
Yeah, I haven't either, honestly.
Because I don't care.
Yeah.
But I figure eventually I'll hear about it because Monster Hunter fans are not quiet.
I mean, personally, I played Monster Hunter Wilds for 30-some hours like I always do with Monster Hunter, and I couldn't tell that it was any worse than any prior Monster Hunter I had ever played. In fact, there were things about it that I liked more. I liked the open world. I liked how the monsters moved in herds, and there was an ecosystem in the game. I don't know. Like, I do understand that a lot of people play Monster Hunter for like 5 years or whatever. That's never been me. No. But I definitely, if I had paid for that game, got my money's worth out of that game.
Well, I don't actually know what the hardcore Monster Hunter players want from the game, clearly, because what they're upset about doesn't actually make a whole lot of sense to me. My thing with Monster Hunter is I don't have the patience for the grind. I don't want to play constant co-op stuff, and I don't normally have the issue with it, but they don't do a very good job of making me feel like these creatures should be killed.
Right. Yeah, we talked about that.
A lot of times I just feel like I'm hunting down innocent animals for no reason other than make pants out of them. And I'm just like, I don't want to do that. That's why I like stories, is because there's a little more of a... I mean, they're just monster. You know, it doesn't feel like you're going out and like hunting down creatures that are minding their own business quite so much. And especially, I guess that's sort of ironic, because probably my favorite game of all time is Shadow of the Colossus, in which that's exactly what you're doing. Yeah. But like the game frames that as a tragedy. Yeah. And it turns out that they're all evil. And they're actually containing an evil, and you are doing the wrong thing by doing that. So it is a tragedy. But Monster Hunter is just like, okay, during the tutorial, you've hurt this dinosaur, and now you have to go
watch it limp
while
away.
It limps away bleeding. And I'm just like, I don't want to play this anymore.
Agree. Yeah, I feel guilty when I play those games.
But I still don't really understand what, because I assume the complaints about Wild's, I know some of it's performance. Like they screwed up a bunch of performance stuff on PC and Switch, I think. But if the content complaints, I don't really understand, because I don't know what a Monster Hunter hardcore fan wants from Monster Hunter, because I'm not one of them. Yeah. So I don't know. I would be very curious to know. I don't know if anyone in chat is a hardcore Monster Hunter person, but I would like to know what the response in general has been to the new expansion they announced. If people are optimistic or pessimistic.
Well, it's also not coming for like a year.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, you don't really know anything.
Yeah, plenty of time to think about it.
Yeah, we'll see what that is.
So Matt, do you think...
Because that could be a make good. They could definitely use that as a big overhaul situation, but I don't know what people think or what.
I mean, they're saying it's a gigantic overhaul.
Yeah, they did very much emphasize that it's a huge.
Yeah, I think they're trying to fix it for the fans, and that's another thing Capcom does. Even when they do strike out, sometimes they listen to the fans. They try to fix it. They don't give up.
Yeah, the good news is, even if you don't like it, I guess there's another 1 to 2 years, right?
Yeah, so. That's the only positive thing I can say about Ubisoft at this point, is that it doesn't give up.
They're just going to start running out of words that begin with W.
Yeah. Do you think any other publishers are going to follow this strategy going forward? It feels like Nintendo's the only one that still does it.
I mean, Nintendo goes the other direction. They won't even tell you who made it.
They won't tell you who made it, but they do trot out their developers to front their stuff. Yeah. It's like when PlayStation or Xbox do things, they have presenters that come out and present the stuff. Nintendo just rolls out the guy that made the game and is like, go.
Yeah, well, also you see, I mean, at some point someone has to speak for it, which is fine. You know, but again, I think. Insomniac runs that way, but they roll out people to talk about Wolverine or whatever, but they're usually heads of departments, basically. Yeah. But I think a lot of individual studios do run that way. Yeah. And
with the studio head
and all that, but the studio head being kind of the spokesman, but not necessarily the person who dictates everything. I would say you're actually probably your closest relatives that display the opposite ends of that spectrum would be Insomniac, which is very team focused, and Naughty Dog, which is very Neil focused.
It is. That is one studio that does have the great man thing going on.
The problem there is that so far Neil has not dropped that ball. Because it makes it easy to call the great man theory out when you see how that great man performs down the road. Yeah. And then the flip side of that is something like Amy Hennig, where it's I don't know, because no one's let her put a fucking game out in 10 years. Or Jade Raymond, where it's is that the great man problem, or is it just that no one's letting them finish their projects?
I mean, so what do you think? Is the great man theory the reason that Naughty Dog hasn't put out a game in 8 years?
I think that comes down to whose fault the focus on factions was.
Yeah.
We don't know if that was. I mean, I'm going to guess that was. So
Neil definitely did not want to make that game.
Neil's thing. No,
definitely not. No, he was playing ball
I think it's very hard to blame Neil for that one, unless it was also some confluence of he didn't care because he was going to go work on the TV show. Yeah. And I don't know. We don't know enough about that.
I did see this week, finally, the average PlayStation fan finally starting to get fed up with the lack of output. I saw people going after Naughty Dog this week about Intergalactic, being like, bro, what the F? Like, we've been patient. 'Cause I've been saying this for like 3 freaking years, and people are like, I don't care. It's like, now finally PlayStation fans are like, dude, like, what in the hell's going on here? Like, where is your freaking game at?
They lost years to factions.
Yeah, they did.
That's all it is.
And most people don't know
That's
about
all that is.
Yeah, the
And,
average person doesn't know that.
Also, I don't think they're gonna really start hitting Intergalactic very hard until they're closer to or past God of War.
Yeah.
Like, God of War is their next big thing, and so you better get used to seeing a lot of God of War Luffy.
I mean, that's just the way it is with PlayStation right now. They have one big game at a time.
Yeah. And there are other little things in there, but like, they focus on one AAA at a time.
Yeah.
And that's just how it's going to be. And
Didn't work out too good for Saros.
I would argue that Saros is not a AAA.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know it costs AAA money.
It probably doesn't, though.
But like, it is
compared to
it is
other...
not in the league of a Wolverine or a God of War or an Intergalactic.
Agreed. Yeah. But PlayStation still gave it the room to breathe.
Sure, because they had nothing else to fucking put out.
Right.
But right now, your two 800-pound gorillas in the Sony camp are Wolverine and God of War Luffy, and you are not going to see Intergalactic until Wolverine is out.
Yeah,
at the very
that's
least.
true.
I mean, maybe the Game Awards.
Yeah.
That would be where I don't think we're going to see a big gameplay demo, but we might see more at the Game Awards.
Yeah.
But that will be after Wolverine. They got it. They have the big thing that's coming, and they got the guy on deck circle. And right now, the on deck circle is Luffy.
Yeah. Yep. Well, there you go. That's why Capcom is killing it, and that's why we're all buying their games. Like I pretty much feel confident recommending a Capcom game to like anybody.
Yeah, that's true. Like, as long as
They
you're
hit
willing to
every
play
time.
the genre.
Yeah.
Like, even Resident Evil.
You know the quality's going to be there.
Yeah.
In the end of the day.
And
so.
it's remarkable. It's across the board.
Yep.
Even with the weird stuff.
It is.
Yep. I really did not think I was going to like that
Kunitsugami
thing, but I did.
I knew I'd like it because I like tower defense.
I am very picky
about.
I'm picky about tower defense because I like to have more input in what happens, but it does give you. I felt like I was able to use my character to save a desperate situation.
Oh yeah.
To the degree that I want in a tower defense game. So yeah, I thought that was very good.
Agreed. Yep. Well, there you go. Let's check in with you guys real quick and see what you're saying about Capcom and how Capcom is just crushing it right now. Blitch's SLXM over on YouTube says, those surveys Capcom always puts out for the fans really matter to them. Onimusha should probably happen because of that. That's a good point,
That's
actually. They're great at listening to fans. They really are. And then acting on it and putting their money where their mouth is, like big money where their mouth is.
I agree with Toon Medic. I 100% believe Dino Crisis Remake would sell.
No,
absolutely.
Me too. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Well, there's lots
It's crazy how few dinosaur and games and movies there are.
It is.
You'd think there'd be a
just
whole
too many
sub-market of Jurassic Park ripoffs in all media, but they just don't exist. Really. There is a subgenre of independently made dinosaur horror games, horror survivor game.
Yeah.
Like, not like Dino Crisis, Resident Evil, but like, you know, like an open
Make a
world,
fire, live in a cave.
Like but there's a
like
bunch
Land
of
the Lost.
And honestly, some of them are pretty good.
They should make a Land of the Lost survival game, actually.
Man, that'd
be a good use of that IP.
Everyone over 55.
The
here's
stacks.
your game.
Majora Tom says, I'm pretty sure Finland subsidizes its games industry pretty well, so that might offset any losses Housemarque and Sony may have incurred from any underperformance of Saros. Silkshank says, I knew Capcom made me a fan of Resident Evil, Street Fighter, and more. They really knew how to get new people in. Yep.
Yeah, they do.
Making great games will do that. I mean, it's going to get people in.
And look, as someone who you know, I kind of checked out of Resident Evil after 5. Like, I was sort of like, you know, that's enough.
Yeah.
You know, because 5 wasn't as good as 4, and 6 really wasn't as good. 6 wasn't as good as 5.
Yeah.
And, like, I just don't care. I'm not a big horror person. I don't really care.
Yeah.
I don't really care about, you know, 7 so much. I played it eventually. I played 8 I played 8 when it came out because, you know, everybody was on the Lady Dimitrescu bandwagon, right? But then that game kind of falls off a cliff after you beat her.
Right.
And it's like, oh, now there's like 3 more
it's
guys.
like you don't care. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's like, wait, this is the girl I came to kill.
That werewolf guy just looks like he smells bad. I want to go back to the vampire girls. And then 9, I'm like, I think 9 is a return to form. As you know, I would argue it's even as someone who didn't ultra love it, I think it's the best Resident Evil since 4.
Yeah, I think that's pretty safe to say. Yeah, other than maybe the 4 remake.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, I'm not counting the remakes there. I think the remakes are probably the best Resident Evil.
They
games
are.
ever made.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was gonna,
RE2 was really freaking.
That's
good.
why I keep saying like you got to get around to 1 again because once you have 1 through 4 in that remake form, man.
Sounds like after Veronica, it's going to be 0.
Yeah.
They just said that they took it away from a partner that they had working on it, and they brought it in-house, which is the right move anyway.
Yeah,
It's just the way it should have been.
At some point, you got to get to one.
Yep.
Maybe that's like their crown jewel. Maybe that's like what they're planning to do, the end of it.
Yep.
Like now it's complete.
Quickster says, I think this might be some sort of survivor success bias. Rockstar is the biggest dev in the world, largely due to their great men. BioWare went to hell after the doctors left. Naughty Dog has always had one figurehead or another driving development. I mean, it does bring up a good point about Rockstar.
Rockstar, I think, so two things there. BioWare was already going to hell when the doctors left because they were owned by EA.
Right.
That had nothing to do with them.
Which is why the doctors left.
They didn't want to be part of that anymore.
Yeah.
And I understand that.
Yeah.
Rockstar, to some degree, I think, is as successful as it was in spite of the Housers in some cases. But the main thing is, as with everything else in the industry, like the Mongols, Rockstar is the exception.
Yeah.
There's always one thing that doesn't follow every other thing that happens normally.
Yeah.
And in history, it's the Mongols. And in the video game industry, it's Rockstar.
Yeah.
It's like it's like, no, that's not how that works. Well, Rockstar's, well, it works that way for us. And it's like, that's it. That's
Crypto Cody, I just saw your super chat. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. That's what, 3 today you've given us? Mm-hmm. Wow. Thank you, brother. Really appreciate it, man. Makes a difference for us. See if we got maybe one more comment about this over on the Twitch. Here we go. E-Theme. Capcom is successful because all their games are scoped, budgeted, managed well. They target 2 million sales as their success point, which is far more reasonable than the rest of the AAA industry.
Yeah. I mean, I think
if you aim low.
But also, that's everything. You know, you mentioned that in the run-up about possible explanations that Capcom didn't use, and I think all those things are true. Those are also part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not expecting everything to be a multi-billion-dollar hit and you budget and plan accordingly, you're going to be more successful because you know what you're doing.
Yep.
You're not expecting everything to be. You know, that's why one of the reasons Hollywood is having so much trouble right now. There is the main studios where it's like they started making movies trying to make everything an Avengers level hit, and now not even the Avengers are that.
Right.
So if your whole business model is based on like having $2 or $3 billion movies every year, and that's just not happening anymore for pretty much anybody except Christopher Nolan, what are you doing?
Yeah,
like,
you need to adjust.
You can't do anything about, and Disney is lucky enough that every once in a while they get an Inside Out 2 or Moana or whatever, that Inside Out 2 suddenly biggest animated film of all time. Why? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either. It's crazy.
I thought it was good, but I didn't think it was like the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
And we'll see. You know, like meanwhile, again, we talk about the smaller stuff and the weird stuff, you know, blowing up and being where you get the new ideas and the new directions and the new ways to take things. Obsession. Mm-hmm. Like cost hundreds of thousands of dollars and it's probably going to be the biggest profit margin in the history of the medium.
Yep. It's
crazy. Look, I don't need to see that fucking movie.
Right.
Because like there's cat killing in it.
Right, yeah, I'm watching it.
But like you can't argue. I mean, that's never coming out of Disney.
No.
It's never coming out of Microsoft.
No.
You know, the equivalent is never coming out of Microsoft. So like what are we doing?
Yeah. You have to have those smaller guys. Slagathor says the great man is a fallacy. There are only men who claim all the credit for a whole team's hard work. And Slagathor, I know for a fact, works in the creative industry, so he knows that very, very well. So
and most of the really good, quote unquote, great men in creative works will admit that.
Yeah.
Like Steven Spielberg is never going to claim that his movies are great because of him.
Yeah.
And him alone.
It's a team. Yeah. Those are the people you want to work for too.
Yeah.
Honestly, nobody wants to work for the great man.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to work on a team.
Christopher Nolan too. I mean, Christopher Nolan is the front man, but like I think he doles credit out pretty readily.
Yeah, he does. Okay, it's time for us to move on. We are going to preview Fable because they blew out Fable after the Xbox showcase.
There's a lot of that going around at Microsoft.
What?
Like, oh, we're gonna tell you more about this game after.
Yeah, when nobody's watching.
When you think you can turn this off, that's when all the information.
It's really stupid. They put out like a 30-minute walkthrough for Fable.
Yeah. Now,
like
to be fair,
2 days after.
To be fair, they got almost a year to.
Yeah,
to
I mean,
keep
there's
pushing
time.
This thing.
But this is what should have been shown in the Xbox showcase. It makes.
I think there's a kind of a conventional wisdom right now that stuff like this isn't good for the showcase
really
thing.
Like you don't have to show the whole 30 minutes, obviously.
Right, but because people like criticize these gameplay things. I mean, even look at how they reacted to the God of War thing. They thought it was boring because it was an unbroken series of cutscenes to some degree. You know.
Pathetic. If people have the attention
So now,
span
okay, you
of a
put this
gnat.
up, and now it was like, oh, I didn't get to see how the game plays. You put this up, it's like, oh, we watched a horse ride around down a road for 5 minutes. There's no way to win.
Well, this 30-minute chunk pretty much explains everything that happens in this game aside from the main quest. So they've still been kind of cagey about the main quest in this game. They've given you the basic setup for it. They haven't really talked about...
This, by the way, is way better because you can't hear the voiceover.
Yeah.
The
No, you're
voiceover
right.
was awful in it.
You're right.
I didn't need it. Do what The Witcher 4 did and just show me the game. You don't need to tell me everything. You're not making something that's so complex you need to like explain every bit of it. This is not a DVD extra.
You're right. It was hard to listen to the voiceover in this. I agree with that. But the one thing I will say is that before I watched this game just felt like a bunch of trailers. It didn't feel like a game
I
yet.
mean, you saw the snippets, but it's not until this that you really
see
saw
how it all snaps
fits
together.
Yeah,
like you finally understand it. And what I realized after watching this is that this game is a bunch of different things in one. It's a life sim, it's a social sim, it's an economic sim, and it's an action RPG.
They are really trying to realize what Fable always wanted to be and never achieved.
I was
And
interested.
You gotta wonder if it's gonna get there.
Yeah. It was interesting that they said they have never talked to Peter Molyneux. They have not spoken to him one time.
Why would they?
Well, they said that
he didn't create Fable.
They said that they think about him all the time while they're working on it, but they have never talked to him. And they hope that when he plays this, he's proud of it.
I imagine he would if he bothers to play it.
He'll play it. He'll definitely play it.
Because here's the thing. He didn't create Fable.
I know.
Fable was Big Blue Box.
We've told that story before.
And I go on and on and on. He hasn't put out, before 22 Cans, he hadn't put a game out that was his idea, that was his project since the movies.
I know, yeah.
Because Fable became...
He was just a figurehead.
He was a figurehead.
Yep. Well, so what they said is that this game is not connected directly in any way to any of the various Fables that came before. There's no common characters.
Full reboot.
Other than Albion.
Well, Jack of Blades is a common character, but Jack of Blades can be anybody.
Yep. And so they wanted to make sure that they spent the time with this presentation focusing on the stuff I talked about. Life sim, social sim, economic sim. And boy, did they ever. So the morality system in this is way more nuanced. In perfect timing with the B-roll here.
This is very fun. Like, I'm very encouraged by it. This is very funny.
It is funny.
It's extremely
legitimately
dark,
funny.
but it's very... Like, I'm not having this conversation with you with the pig you want to slaughter. Is very funny.
Yeah. Well, that's this whole scene is like you deciding whether the pig gets slaughtered or not, while the pig tries to convince you not to slaughter the pig. And that's Fable. Like, that is the X factor about this franchise, that at least in this one brief moment here, it manages to
one of
nail.
the funniest things you can do, and Shrek knew this 25 years ago, one of the funniest things you can do in this kind of Fable, folklore, fairy tale setting is have the people who live in the setting completely done with how fantastical it is. Like the things that we would think are the craziest, most amazing things we've ever seen, this is just the shit people live with every day, and they are completely over it. And like, because imagine if you are a butcher, if you have to argue with the animal you slaughter every single time, like how fucking done you would be with that.
You quit very quickly.
And how sociopathic that would make you very, very quickly. This is the dry British humor that this game needs to make itself unique.
This demo is very smart, though, because so he chooses here to let the pig live, and it's like, oh, I mean, if you're watching it, you're relieved, you don't want to see the pig die. But what it does is it sets off the chain reaction in this demo that shows off all the other stuff. So later on, when he goes to approach a girl that he wants to go on a date with, she knows that he did this, and she knows that he's a good guy. And she mentions, oh, I heard you let that pig live. You're a good dude. I'll go out on a date with you. And all the stuff that you do ends up tying together into all the other elements of the game. Likewise, if you're trying to buy property or bargain the property. So once you buy a piece of property, you need to figure out what to do with it. And you can do a bunch of different stuff. You can move in yourself. You can bribe the people who are living there to move out. You can just throw them out. when you go to buy stuff, all the things that you've done, like this scene or going out asking the girl on the date, how you approach her, it ties into when you go to buy the house in your negotiations. They know whether you're a shrewd guy or an evil guy or you're a good guy. All that stuff ties together. And again, it was very smart to show this demo this way because this interaction here ticks off all the rest of it and allows them to show off all the other systems.
And this
in the game.
is sort of the, that original Molyneux pitch of plant the acorn and
Right.
it grows into an oak tree, except done in an interesting way.
Right.
You know, it's like,
Yeah.
because here's the spoiler because people always bring that example up because he used it at that GDC announcement he did.
Yeah.
And how it never really happened except that I think Fable 3 or something that you put an acorn in and then when you flash forward 10 years, it's actually
there
a
it
tree.
is. Yeah.
Well, guess what? That was always going to be as interesting as that got.
Yep.
Because a tree growing is not interesting.
It sounds great.
It's not gameplay.
But yeah.
It doesn't matter.
It really doesn't.
But this sort of thing, you have planted the acorn of not slaughtering the pig, and it's going to grow into a narrative oak. Now I sound like Peter Molyneux again. You're going to grow into a narrative oak tree, and you're going to press that Y button over and over and over again.
Y button.
Y button. You're going to love what we've done with this button right here. Everything you do at range is just the Y. You just press that Y button. I'm like, man, that man could have had me jump out that window at that moment, and I would have thought about it.
So here's another thing. Every NPC you talk to, you know who they are right away. Mm-hmm. They tell you kind of what they are, what they do, what their personality is, whether they're good person or bad person, and that affects how you interact with those people as well. And then eventually, for example, when you start asking girls or guys out on dates or whatever, when you're talking to them, a list of what they're looking for will appear there. So they'll say, I want you to be an entrepreneur.
That's the real superpower.
I want you to be virtuous, all that kind of stuff. And it kind of gives you a guidepost to kind of figure out.
Hey, AR glasses people. If you make AR glasses that do that, you'll sell a couple of them.
Those AR glasses are going to cause everybody to stay at home because, it's legal to use those and record people out in public. You have no assumption of privacy in public. So people can use them, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's just going to make people stay at home.
Well, the good news is that no one's ever going to buy them because they're too goddamn expensive. Have you seen? You've seen the ones that
they're selling very well.
Have you seen the ones
Facebook's are.
AR glasses?
Yeah,
AR?
they're fake glasses that they made with the sunglass company Ray-Ban. Yeah, they're selling like crazy. There's a lot of creeps out there, Matt. Sadly.
They're never going to work. You see the Snapchat ones that were shown that went up this morning?
No.
They are the dorkiest looking thing. I mean, at least the Ray-Ban ones look like Ray-Bans.
Kinda. So there are 10,000 NPCs in this game, Matt. Each one is uniquely voiced. That's so much work all on its own. 10,000 people you had to bring into voice characters. Each one forms individual opinions based on player actions. Each has daily routines that they follow. They have memories. And then your actions ripple through the town and influence how people treat you. Now, one thing is that your voice only ripples through the town, singular.
That is good.
Your reputation in this game does not carry to other towns and other hamlets.
The whole world doesn't instantly know.
Yes, you can micromanage your reputation in each town that you go to. That is a brilliant idea. I think the knee-jerk reaction would be like, no, you have this overarching reputation. But the smarter way to do it is like this. It gives the player... Yeah, I've seen those. It gives the player a lot more freedom.
Snapchat's stock dropped when they announced their AR glasses.
I'm not surprised. What else we got here? So there's a bounty system in the game. You can just, so after you've done enough bad stuff, you can just pay off your bounty if you want to. And that'll remove, your criminal label, but it won't magically make everyone forget your actions. They'll still remember that. But the thing is because of the way they set up the reputation system, you can just head to another town or another region where it's cheaper to pay off the fine and where your reputation doesn't follow you. You can just start all over again. You can build property, and you can build property empires by buying up all the buildings in all the towns in an area. You can manipulate the town economy. You can date your NPCs. You can buy homes.
You could always do these things in Fable, but they were very surface level.
Right.
They didn't feel like you really had anything notable in play, except that you got a lot of money every few minutes.
There's a couple hints at that in this, Matt. Mm-hmm. So the date that you go on in this is like a cutscene. Mm-hmm. You don't really do anything. Once she commits to the date, you go on the quote date, and it's just a cutscene that you watch. So people are a little concerned that there's all this stuff in the game, but ultimately it's going to end up being kind of superficial.
Yeah, I mean, that would would track with how Fable has done things in the past.
I mean, I hope they change it for this one, but I don't know. It doesn't look like it, honestly.
My guess is like with the other ones, there are certain NPCs that would have more to their relationships with you, like that one rich lady in 2, I think it was. But like in general, it was a little shallow.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that they said too about
it looks like you can manipulate the population more interestingly through land ownership in this, though, which is more interesting.
Yeah. The other thing they said too, that the reason they didn't want to make the reputation system as binary as it was before, where if you were good you had a halo and if you were bad you grew horns, was that perception of people is so different. Like, there are girls that like bad boys, for example. Like, there are girls that in high school that didn't like me because I was a good guy. They wanted to date the guy that was out raising hell or whatever. And so the way they looked at it was like, perception of good and evil is dependent upon the person. And some person may look at someone that thinks other people think are bad and say, I love that person. This is the type of person I want to hang around with. And they wanted to make sure that was reflected in the morality system of Fable. That's why it's like a little more nuanced and like on a regional basis.
It was a little black and white in the last one.
Well, yeah. No, nice pun there. So yeah, basically...
There's a remaster of that, by the way.
Yeah, seriously. That'd not be a bad idea. And then I mentioned earlier, like each business that you own, you can choose who to hire, how much the business charges, how much you pay your employees. And then like if you buy a bar or you set up a bar or whatever, there's like a little room like down in the basement where you go to like collect your money, which is kind of funny. But you have a lot of control over each business that you own. And you can own like dozens and dozens of businesses and do all that stuff with each one of them. Combat was not a big part of this. It still remains my biggest concern with Fable. And you never really know until you hold the controller in your hand, so I don't want to pass too much judgment on it. But across the years, I've gotten pretty good at like watching footage and figuring out whether the combat feels good. And it does not look snappy, I guess is what I would say. But it doesn't look awful either. And with all this other stuff going on, who knows how big of an element the combat will be ultimately in this game. It may just be something you do once every 30 or 40 minutes, and it's kind of like a Hellblade or something. It's not the crux of the game. We'll see. But that is still my biggest concern right now, is the gameplay.
Can I evict everyone and move talking pigs into all the
I think you
houses?
Can, yes. I think you can.
Well, I know what I'm doing.
Yep. And some more information on bounties. Like if you commit crimes, it draws the attention of the local militia, and that places a bounty on your head and brands you as a criminal. And then, of course, we already talked about the British humor that has already come through on this game, and hopefully it can sustain throughout the entirety of the game. But generally, what I would say after watching this demo, I am way more excited for this game than I was before, and I was pretty excited for it before. So it looks like at the very least they're trying to do all the things that people want in a Fable game. Whether they actually end up accomplishing it or not, who knows? But I think it looks pretty damn good, and I'm really excited to play it. It is coming out on February 23rd. It is still coming to PS5. They have not canceled it for PlayStation 5, so PC, Xbox Series, and PS5, and Game Pass. So it'll be interesting to see how it does, considering that most people will be able to spend $20-some for a month and just play it that way. But yeah, that's Fable, and this is the biggest look that we have had at the game so far, and I think it was an auspicious look at the game. Overall, I was pretty impressed with it. And just by the way, the B-roll, we're only halfway through it. There's another like 15 or 20 minutes that they show off of this game. I'll just quickly pan through it here very quickly to just kind of show you the stuff. Here's your employee. They show here how you can just fire people. Like you walk in and she says like, "Hey boss, good to see you. Things are going great." And he goes, "You're fired." And he just fires her. So this is the end where they're just kind of showing you what happens if you're actually a jerk, basically. And that you can. Because they do focus most of this demo on being a good guy. So they wanted to show in the end like what it would be like if you were a bad person. And then there's jobs. You can be a blacksmith or whatever to make money. So they said like in the early going, you really need to like get a job to make your first amount of money so you can buy your first business. And they recommended setting up a bar first, and then that starts generating, and that just sets it all off. Your empire, so to speak. So yeah, I think this game's looking awesome. I'm really excited for it. My big concern still is the gameplay, but my guess is that's probably what they're going to focus on next, is the main quest and then the gameplay.
There's a lot of tweaking you can do to the field of combat between now and February.
Yep. I mean, you can make a big change in a week to combat. So, yeah, I'm not writing it off or anything like that.
And Fable has always had at the very least, passable combat. Like, it's always felt pretty good.
Yeah, good enough for the game, usually. So, hopefully that's the case here. But yeah, that's Fable coming to pretty much everything but Switch 2 on February 23rd. And yeah, we kind of just brushed over it when we tackled Not E3 last week, because all we had seen at that point was just a trailer. And then they dropped this huge gameplay demo, and it kind of changed everything. So, Microsoft eventually did blow out the upcoming Fable, but there's still a lot more to learn. Okay, let's move on. We're going to talk about Not E3, I think, for the last time. This is it. This will be the last topic that we have on GameFace for Not E3 2026, Summer Game Fest, whatever the heck you want to call it at this point. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about under-the-radar games. Games that, like, caught our eye, but we didn't talk about in the press conferences. We just didn't have time, or we didn't think they were important enough, or they just weren't in the press conferences, and they kind of got exposure later on through other means. Maybe Jeff's in-person thing where people got to play some stuff like that. The first game we're going to talk about, and I do think this is maybe one of the biggest games of the show, regardless of whether it's in a press conference or not, it has blown up since, is a game called Blood Message. And Matt, I think this might be ultimately like the next Crimson Desert. It's an open world, sprawling action RPG with an Eastern Asian setting. I do wonder how long people are going to be interested in this. I just saw that Black Myth Wukong sold like, I think it was like 30, 40 million units or something like that. But then I looked into it, and it sold less than 2 million in the U.S. So it was 80% of its sales were China.
Yeah, there's a big audience in China. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
A lot of people live there.
Yeah. So these games, I think, are always going to do well. It's whether they hit in America or not, I think, is always the X factor. Crimson Desert did.
Hitting in America, I feel, is just sort of like a nice to have.
Yeah.
Them, you know, sort of like how like it used to be like overseas used to be for movies. It's like, well, we make all our money domestically, and like everything international is sort of frosting.
Yeah.
Maybe that will change eventually, but like, I don't know. Like Crimson Desert is obviously a global hit.
They put out a big chunk of this too. A 20-minute gameplay demo, uninterrupted, they put out for this. Also, a really polished trailer. It is a story-driven single-player action RPG. Their boilerplate is that it blends brutal combat with deep Eastern storytelling. It takes place in 848 AD during the late Tang Dynasty. Tang.
Yeah, I don't think, and the chat seems to also agree, I don't think this is open world. I think this is a linear, more
really?
game. Yeah.
I thought it was open world.
I don't think so.
This demo makes it look like it's open world.
Certainly not Crimson Desert style.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not sandboxy like Crimson Desert, without a doubt. But I do think this game might be open world. If you watch
I think there's areas, but I don't think there's a world, really.
Okay. It tells a story, they say, of ordinary people caught up in extraordinary war-torn times. You play
it's a video game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. You play as Pei Changwan. You also play alongside his young son, Ning. They're basically traveling the Silk Road to deliver a crucial message to the Emperor. And the elements that they kind of use when they describe it in their elevator pitch is sword clashes, dodges, parries, and executions with survival mechanics, stealth sections, and intense cinematic chase sequences. A lot of people have, honestly, Matt, to be fair, have been comparing this to, like, God of War.
Yeah, I was going to say, this feels more like a God of War Uncharted sort of thing.
Yeah, and people have been comparing it to that. Like, the press generally has been. But this game put out a great trailer, and then it put out this 20-minute demo that you're watching right now, and it has become one of the biggest games of Not E3 Summer Game Fest 2026. And again, it is called Blood Message. I don't know if they have a release date for this yet, but are you interested in this?
Yeah, I'll definitely give it a look.
The Eastern setting is definitely wearing on me, but this is so
well, here's the thing. This isn't Eastern mythology stuff.
Right.
It's Eastern historical, which is more interesting to me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm tired of like yokai and feathered demons and stuff. But like, this is more like traveling the Silk Road and getting into like weird shit like that. Like, that is more interesting to me.
Yeah. But this is PC, PS5, Xbox Series as of right now. Maybe they end up adding Switch 2. We don't know yet. Next up, the next game under the radar game I want to discuss is a game called Mistfall Hunter. If you watched the Shane Satterfield show, I just did a playview for this in the episode that went up yesterday, where we preview it and then do a little Let's Play segment. There is a demo of this right now on Steam if you want to give it a go. I will say the demo runs like ass, I thought it was, I'm like, oh, I guess my 4070 isn't powerful enough for this game. And then I went and searched the internet, and they're like, there is no card that's powerful enough to run this game without it. It was VSync issues, stuttering issues. I don't know how they recorded this footage for their trailer, in all honesty. But the bottom line is that this is a Dark Souls-like extraction game. Now, I have hated pretty much every extraction shooter I've ever played. I hate the concept of extraction shooters where you're forced to be a jerk and steal from people as they're about to extract. So this subgenre doesn't normally resonate with me, but this is an action RPG, which is my favorite genre, so I gave it a try. And I will say it's designed like a Souls-like, but it's not difficult like a Souls-like. So the rank and file enemies in this, as long as you're not being an idiot, they're not going to kill you. You can kill them pretty much all of them. Now, the bosses are tough, and you'll probably die in your first boss fight, but here's the thing. You get to pick and choose whether you want to fight the boss or not. So just like any other extraction game, you go into the world, you fight a bunch of enemies, you collect stuff, you collect weapons, armor, and crafting materials, and like you have a base that you go back to between runs, and you can use your crafting materials to build out the base and build like different stations that you can go to. But you can choose when you leave. So while you're out in the world playing, you'll get like a little chime, a little bell will ring. And it'll say, hey, this station just spawned. If you go to the station, if you follow the map and go to the station, you activate it, and this little creature appears that you then have to fight and kill. And if you kill it, that opens up the portal to extract back to the hub, basically. But here's the thing. When you open up that portal, a bell rings and it alerts all the other human players nearby that you're trying to extract, and so they come and they try to kill you. Now, I'll say this, playing the demo, beta, whatever the heck you want to call it, the first couple of times I extracted, humans showed up and killed, and I killed one the first time. The second time they killed me and took my stuff. The third time nobody showed up at all. So, I don't know. I'd never heard the bell ring for somebody else except me running, so I don't know what that's like in the multiplayer environment, but this game is set up so that you play in teams of 3, and it's a little bit like Elden Ring Night Rain in that way. You play as a team of 3, you play for as long as you want to, and when you're ready to extract, you do the process that I did, and you try to get out of there, and hopefully you get out with all your stuff. And then you go back, and there's stations, you can try to upgrade, there's skill trees to upgrade your abilities, there's character-specific abilities that the host back at the hub world will give you and imbue you with. It's a lot like Elden Ring Night Rain, but it's not as difficult. Like, it's easier to kill the rank and file enemies, and like I said, you don't have to fight the bosses if you don't want to, but if you want that really nice piece of armor or that really cool weapon that's going to wreck shop for the next several runs, you're going to have to fight the boss. So it's that whole risk-reward system that you're used to with extraction stuff, except it's a Souls-like. So I enjoyed it. I played it for several hours. I did a playview on it. You guys can go watch that if you're patrons. By the way, the Shane Satterfield Show is a Patreon exclusive. It's not being posted on YouTube anymore, so that is exclusive for you guys if you're a patron. You can watch the playview and see for yourself, but I had a good time playing it. I definitely enjoyed it more than the extraction shooters that I've played, which is kind of surprising because I'm also a big fan of shooters. So this is called Mistfall Hunter. Right now it's scheduled to come out on July 29th in like a month. I think it's going to be delayed. I mean, so I'm not the only one who had problems. People are like, oh man, I got like a 5090 and I can't get this thing to run, and the screen's tearing.
Optimization needed.
Yeah, they got some work to do. Hopefully they get it done.
It doesn't look like there's anything here that should be really pushing the high-end cards.
It's a pretty game, but not that pretty. But you can see here, like when you die, like Souls-likes, you have to go back and try to get your stuff back from your corpse. So it has all the design tenets of a Souls-like without being as difficult as a lot of Souls-likes.
I guess if you don't want to buy a Switch 2 for Duskbloods,
here you go. Yeah, and there's also some like Battle Royale stuff to it. Like there's a mist that comes in eventually, and you have to run from the mist, and it squeezes everybody into a circle that you have to fight in and encourages confrontation. You can see it here in some of these trailers, or in this trailer. But it is an interesting game, and it's the first extraction action RPG. Very catchy to say. Alliteration going on there.
Yeah, why isn't it just an extraction RPG?
Yeah, extraction action RPG. Because you could extract in a turn-based RPG, I guess.
That'd be weird.
It would, I guess. I mean, I thought this was going to be weird at first, but it's not. Like, it actually worked really well. So, I had a good time playing it. Again, that's called Mistfall Hunters. Next up is a game that I did mention, but I didn't show in our wrap of E3 last week, and that is Join Us. And this is a game where it's half cult sim and half like territorial defensive game, like survival game. So you start a cult and you set up everything. You build your buildings, you set up your churches, you set up like what you believe and your belief systems.
This struck me as like Cult of the Lamb meets State of Decay.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, actually. Now, one thing I am disappointed in is that it's not a massively multiplayer game, so it's not like I set up my cult over here and you set up your cult over there, Matt, and eventually we get in a war of cults. That's a sequel, I guess, because that would be really freaking awesome. But this game does not do that. The things that you fight, like the cops and the authorities and the FBI and stuff, it's all cooperative with 3 other players. So basically, it's a cult sim crossed with like a horde mode, basically. Where every so often the cops come or the authorities come and try to wipe out your cult, and you have to defend.
Cthulhu rises.
Yeah. So you have to defend your cult from the authorities, but for the most part, it is a sim and a survival game where you're building, I mean, really, it's kind of like grifting the video game. Because
except it seems like they're real. Yeah. So it's not a grift if the aliens actually show up.
Oh, right. No, I mean as far as like you start a cult and then you get people to work for you for free. And you basically make money off of this thing that you don't even believe in.
But then, as you see in the trailer, the things show up.
Right.
Like there's a UFO, and there's Cthulhu, and there's monster. So
the things that you believe are legitimate in this.
It turns out that that's real. So is it a
grift?
Is it a grift if Cthulhu really shows up?
That's a good point, actually. But this game looks really, really interesting and really, really cool. And again, I hope the sequel does sort of do like an open world, massively multiplayer
I wish Far Cry
thing.
5 had leaned more into stuff like this.
Me too. I agree with that. Yeah. So
that would have been better if Cthulhu showed up.
Yeah.
At the end.
like the actual things you quote unquote believed in actually showed up. That would be great.
A giant kaiju that's representation of America.
Yeah.
That would be the end of Far Cry 5 in my world.
Yep. So this is coming on March 27th.
The Freedom Beast.
Yeah. It's coming to PC, Xbox, and Game Pass day one. So you're not going to struggle to find other people to join your cult and defend your cult from the cops. So
not that week anyway.
Maybe a week later you might, but it depends on how good the game is, right? Like if it's really good. Really?
Because we have a lot of games that are good that didn't sell.
That's true. Yeah. But if it is good, like maybe they'll stick around more than a week because your cult keeps growing and building. You keep building new buildings and.
Well, hopefully they make it playable single player.
Yeah.
Without co-op stuff because that's how
it may kill it.
That's how this game's gonna have to live.
Yeah.
In the future.
Yep, you're right. So anyway, that game is Join Us, and again, it's coming to PC, Xbox, and Game Pass. And then the next game I want to talk about is Hot Wheels Infinite Rush. This is coming from Milestone, some of the best racing driving game developers in the industry. They've been making driving games for like 3 decades. It's a little bit of Forza Horizon Hot Wheels expansion, the video game, because it is an open world arcade
which is not
style
a bad idea.
I think this is a brilliant idea, honestly. Like, I think this game looks awesome. Like, it may be some serious competition for Forza Horizon on other platforms before it comes to those other platforms.
I doubt it. It's a good companion piece, I think, but it's a younger target, and most Forza fans, I think, are very into the real cars. I think having it just be Hot Wheels stuff makes it a very different experience.
Technically, these are real Hot Wheels cars.
They're real Hot Wheels cars, and Ferrari is involved clearly.
Yeah,
but it's not really the same. I don't think this is competition so much as like the supplement.
Yeah.
Like, I would certainly not replace Forza Horizon with this, but it'd be like, if I'm done with Forza Horizon and I want to play more of that kind of idea, and they're not doing Hot Wheels, clearly they're not doing Hot Wheels expansions for Forza anymore.
Yeah.
Because they've decided to do their own games, which is probably the right
Yeah, it's definitely the right move. Like, I think like a 13-year-old would be more drawn to this than they would be to Forza Horizon.
Probably.
Yeah. You're right, though. There's a certain age where
at least
it cuts off.
At least you're not going to be like probably broing out as hard in this one.
Right.
Because no one's like wasting your time with like weird festival nonsense.
Yeah, I'm not sure why it took so long for Milestone to figure this out, but it finally did.
I'm going to guess it took this long for them to convince Mattel this was a good idea.
Maybe.
Mattel is a very stodgy, weird company. It's very. They took forever to make the Masters of the Universe thing, so they missed the boat on that movie, and like the Barbie thing was basically a hit in spite of itself because the most brilliant thing that Greta Gerwig ever did during that was she basically went to the Mattel executives and said, "You've read the script. We've had our meetings. I am going to go make the movie now. Mm-hmm. You don't get to say anything from here on out. So this is your moment to make any changes or say anything to me, because after this, I'm not going to answer your fucking phone calls anymore. I'm going to make my movie."
Yeah.
And that indeed is what she did.
Yeah.
And she made $1 billion movie.
Yeah.
But when it comes to getting them to like invest in new ideas with their properties, they're very slow to do that. So it very, very legitimately may have taken this long to convince the powers that be at Mattel that this is the direction to go with a Hot Wheels video game.
They made a couple good Hot Wheels racing games that have kind of flown under the radar for the last like 5 or 6 years.
Hot Wheels is probably, I mean, Barbie is obviously their flagship property. Mm-hmm. But in terms of like outside of that, like non-doll related stuff, Hot Wheels is definitely Mattel's like strongest brand next to Barbie. And I mean, they're making a movie.
Right.
Sure.
That's all you need to know.
Although the Matchbox movie is going to make it to theaters first.
Oh, really?
Which is also owned by Mattel.
I didn't even know Matchbox still existed, actually.
Matchbox is purchased by them, and it tends to be pretty... So the difference is that Hot Wheels is like fantasy cars with the go
crazy,
fast,
yeah.
And Matchbox is real world cars.
Yeah.
And apparently the movie is about... I think it's The Rock.
I mean, if they made a Minecraft movie, they can make any movie.
But it's basically like there's no Matchbox. It's like everyone from this small town is like spies, and they bonded because they played with Matchbox cars as a kid, and they go back to the hometown, and like someone gets kidnapped, and they have to rescue them because they're spies.
Yeah.
But, like, the Matchbox connection is literally just how they knew each other as children. Or something like that. I don't know.
That's a joke.
There was a teaser for it or something. That's like, okay, I don't know.
Well, there's one last game under the radar game we want to share with you guys, and you saw this in the Xbox presentation. It's a game called Bad Magpie. At first, I thought this might be made by the same team that made Untitled Goose Game, because it's kind of a similar concept. You're playing as a bird that annoys people. It's kind of the same thing. This game in particular, you play as a magpie that has a broken wing, and so its flock has like left it behind, and it stumbles across this star. I know it sounds crazy, but it stumbles across this star, and it starts collecting shiny objects for the star. And that's the setup of the game. It's a puzzle adventure where you basically go into an area, and you'll see a bunch of shiny objects placed all throughout the area, and you have to solve puzzles basically to try to get those shiny objects. And it's kind of one of those games where like you just mess around with stuff to see what happens, and crazy stuff does in fact happen. The objective of this game is to cause chaos while collecting tiny objects. So you're encouraged to experiment with the different objects. Like one of the initial puzzles that they talked about is like you find a car and there's a shiny object inside the car. You have to go through this like convoluted process to eventually heat up the window of the car hot enough that you can shatter it with the bird's beak. And the bird only does like 3 things. It can call, like squawk or whatever. It can peck, and it can hop fast. And that's pretty much it. So all the puzzles are built around those very simple things. But more than anything else, it just looks really funny and entertaining. And that's kind of what caught my eye. And also the fact that I am a fan of the Untitled Goose Game, and this looks like it has the same tone. So this is called Bad Magpie. It is also going to be a Day 1 Game Pass game when it finally comes out, but we don't know the exact date for that yet. So there you go. That's me after working really long hours after Summer Game Fest, not E3, finding games that kind of slip through the cracks to present to you guys, and maybe you can keep an eye on them, or maybe you can follow them over at sifted.net. Go to their game page, click the gear, click follow, and anything we curate for that game will be at the top of your Sift pinned. Going forward, just a pro tip on Sifted there. But yeah, that's Bad Magpie, and those are the 5 games that kind of caught my eye from the show that people weren't talking about. You didn't maybe see, they weren't high profile, but you should probably keep your eye on. Okay. Any games, by the way, Matt, that you saw that kind of fall into that category that you want to mention quickly?
Not really. I mostly just hope that Virtua Fighter doesn't fall through the cracks again.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna. It looks too awesome. I don't think it's gonna happen. All right. Next up, we're going to talk about Star Fox briefly, because there was a demo that came out during not E3, and both Matt and I played the demo, and the game's obviously coming out in like a week and a half, and we'll review it here on the show when it does, so I don't want to spend a ton of time on it, but I do want to kind of give you the lay of the land as far as how this And I will say, Matt, I'm kind of struggling to call it a remake. Because after playing this demo, most of the remake stuff really is just like the cutscenes and stuff.
I mean, it is remade from the ground up.
Yeah.
It is all new assets, but it is just replicating exactly the original game.
It is very, very similar to the original game. Yeah. Like right down to the placement of every boulder in this asteroid
very
field.
familiar.
And in some ways it was nice. It was nice comfort food because I could remember some of the stuff from this level, like where I needed to like do certain things.
Or some of the stuff from like, oh, this part sucks.
Yeah. And there's nuances to this game. I know a lot of people are like, man, I don't know why I would buy this. It seems like it's too short. But the thing about this game is that it's a game that encourages you to replay it. And I generally never do that with any video game. But this game, for whatever reason, the way it's designed convinces me to replay stuff.
Yeah, I never really did that with this game beyond a certain point.
So you didn't play all the levels then?
No, I certainly never got like the perfect run through or anything because I don't give a shit. And part of it is I found it very frustrating that like some of that stuff you had to do one specific thing, and if you messed it up, that was the end of your run, and you were going to end up in the middle path again, and there's nothing you could do about it, or you could just start the game.
It's
over.
High stakes,
and it's annoying as hell.
I mean, I got so good at it that it didn't matter. I could just crush them. Like just I had these levels mastered.
I had other things to do with my life.
But I still probably only played it for like 20 hours when it was all
I'm
said
not
and
going to
done.
play this game for 20. I'm barely going to play this game for 10 hours.
Yeah.
I have no interest in mastering the Star Fox. I never did.
I already did.
I like playing the multiplayer stuff, like the split screen stuff, and I like going through the story and going through the stuff because I like space shooting stuff. Mm-hmm. But like the only game of this kind of vague nature that I ever like played hardcore enough to master were the Rogue Squadron games. Which I found way more.
Because you would get the gold ratings
the
and
platinums.
stuff. Yeah.
You're going for the platinums on those, which was, I mean, again,
I did that too.
hard as nails. But the thing is, it was per mission. Each mission was its own thing. Mm-hmm. You didn't have to do a whole run through the game to try to get, and then screw the one thing up, and you have to start over. Yeah. That was the thing that killed me on.
Well,
Star
you
Fox
don't
64.
have to. You have to do that if you're trying to get the perfect run.
Right, but like, why would I finish the same run of the same fucking ending I've gotten 15 times? Like, it was just like I was done with it. I was trying to get this one specific thing, and I had trouble getting it because it was very hard, very demanding, and eventually I just gave up. Might be easier on this because you're not going to run into the random frame rate drops the N64 had. Yeah. The performance is obviously going to be better here. But yeah, you're right. This game is not about like, oh, I'm going to have this like one-time adventure through this thing. It's about like, do you want to master this game? Then it's worth it.
Yeah.
Do you not want to play this over and over again and master this game? Then you're in the wrong space.
But here's the thing: as you get good, you're not playing the same thing over and over again. You're getting to new levels that you've never played before with new vehicles and things like that. You're rewarded for it, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Whereas in Rogue Squadron, I just got a medal for playing it over and over again. You actually get new levels that you play.
You got several new levels in Rogue Squadron for doing that.
For plats?
Yes. Well, not for golds usually. The platinums.
The golds are easy though. I would get those on my first run through.
The platinums were. I'd like to see that. The platinums were mostly like I think you got enough platinums and you would unlock the super secret ship or whatever in each one.
Like, you're right.
Like that's how you got the Naboo Starfighter, and I think that's how I think that's how you got like the Revenge of the Empire level in Rogue Leader.
Yeah.
Where you got like the aftermath of Yavin or something like that.
Yep.
There are a lot of alternate levels you get through high metal counts.
The other thing about this game is that it's not just that the game is designed that way where you have to kind of perfect your skills. The levels are designed that way too, because as you do impressive things, I don't know how else to better explain it, you will get laser upgrades. And if you get the laser upgrades, once you get your laser powered all the way up, you are just wrecking shop. And it makes it so much easier to mop up the whole level. And if you get hit, like you drop down a level, and then you have to do something cool again to get that ring back to boost back up. You also, as you do awesome stuff and get good at the game, you earn gold rings. And as you get the gold rings, and I think the lower third's covering it right now. Let me take that down very quickly. You can't, so there you see it. Right now I only have one gold ring. But as you do awesome stuff and earn gold rings, you earn extra men. And in this game, extra men are worth so much.
Well, the gold rings give you more life.
When you collect them. But once you collect the third one, you get an extra life.
When you get all three, you extend the armor bar.
No, you get an extra life.
No, you extend the armor bar is what happens when you get all three.
I got extra lives. When you finish the map, it tells you how many lives you earned. How many extra lives you earn from the gold rings. It's in the final screen of the game when you finish a mission.
Right, but I just played
this demo and the whole explanation in the tutorial, which was more extensive than the Nintendo 64 version, I'll tell you. All three of the gold rings extend your life bar. That's the main function of it.
In the end, it tells you how many extra lives you earned.
Well, I don't know where the extra lives come from, whatever. But I'm telling you right now, getting 3 gold rings extends your life bar.
But so that's another hidden layer of strategy that you strive to reach when you play this. And again, if you're not interested in what we're talking about, this game will last like 5 hours max. Yep. Maybe not even. Like if you just play through it one time, you're going to miss 5 or 6 stages that you'll never play, and you'll finish it in like 5 hours. And you'll be like, oh my God, I feel ripped off. Because this is like $50.
If you don't, you're going to play probably through it 2 or 3 times, and then you're going to decide that getting the other stuff you've missed is going to take way too much time in practice, and that'll be that.
It depends. I mean, I think people that like Souls-like games will resonate with that idea.
I don't know if they will, because it's a very different experience from a Souls.
It's
a very different skill set.
It's challenging, and it's asking you to do it over and over again. That's what I'm talking about. It's this similar mental aesthetic that you take on when you play Souls-like.
But the challenge is much more in terms of a twitch reflex thing versus like Souls games, which are more pattern recognition. And there's pattern recognition in a flight thing. But I'm telling you right now, as someone who's played flight sims my entire life, this thing pissed the shit out of me.
Why?
Because I think it's frustrating and too perfection-oriented.
Interesting. Someone who likes Souls-like saying that's crazy.
Well, because if I die in the Souls-like, I just go back to the bonfire and I can run back. I don't have to replay the whole fucking game
But
again.
You've lost all this stuff, and if you don't get
back...
But
I can get it back.
You can.
I can't get... if I mess the thing up that lets me get the diversion into the direction on the map I'm trying to go in this game, that's it. Start the game over.
I mean, depending on how many times you played it. Because the other thing, too, is you may have
missed... I missed that.
Well, you may have missed that fork, but there's another fork later on.
I don't care. I'm trying to get to that one I haven't done yet. I've done all the others. Now I'm trying to do the last thing I need to do, and I've wasted...
So you're talking about 100%ing the game.
More or less, yeah.
I mean, that you'll play...
I never 100%ed
to do
this
that,
game.
You'll play 30 hours to do that.
And I didn't, because I don't want to do that, because it's too long to spend for the minor reward of 2 more levels.
Well, there's more than that, but...
Not what I was missing. I'm talking about my game on Star Fox 64 that I didn't finish because I was sick of its bullshit.
It's not bullshit.
I think it's bullshit because I don't want to practice that fucking game that long.
But
it's not that interesting.
Bullshit. You do practice other games and it doesn't bother you at all. You just don't like this game.
Because
so it's not bullshit. You just don't like it.
I mean, I do like it, but I don't like it enough to perfect it. That's the difference.
Yeah. I'm just saying you're more willing to try something over and over in other genres than you are in this genre. It's not the game's fault. I'm willing to do it. You just don't like the genre.
I am actually willing to do it in this genre because I did that for Rogue Squadron, which is also an arcade space shooter.
But it's a Star Wars game.
But it's a Star Wars space shooter. But it is also not expecting me to go through the whole game to do one specific thing, to pull one stupid human trick off that then lets me diverge into the levels I haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
It's the speedrun element of this game that annoyed the shit out of me.
I still love it. So I guess what I'm ultimately the point of this discussion is to let people know it's the same damn game.
Oh, very much.
That's the whole point of this discussion. It's like it's the same game.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you liked it back then, you're gonna love it now because it is better than the original Star Fox 64. If you didn't like it back then, you're not gonna like it now. That's pretty much the bottom line.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that comes out on the 25th, so about a week to go. We'll probably review it not in next week's show, but probably the one after. And maybe there are surprises, but based upon what I played of this demo, I don't think so.
I mean, there's the challenge mode, and there's more.
I think the story
things.
might have a tweak to it.
Well, there's obviously more connective tissue in the story. There's cutscenes, and there's more. You know, it's the story in the original game is very bare bones,
very simple, but also effective.
I mean, it gets you there. It's fine, but there's more to this.
Like the moment, I don't want to.
It was funny. It was funny. I mean, obviously, the opening scene with his father is new. They showed that in that initial direct. But then you get to the main game, and I was like, oh yeah, this cutscene is exactly the same. It's just 14,000 times higher fidelity, basically. But even the stuff that each individual Arwing does in the cutscene is identical. I mean, they are literally remaking this game frame by frame.
The cutscenes back at the Great Fox, those are all new and different. Yeah.
But like a lot of the space stuff, like even
the real-time cutscenes.
Once you get in the mission, they're exactly the same.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Like that's probably what they should do.
Yeah.
It's like what are you gonna do that improves on that? Like you don't need more than that.
Yeah.
I had also forgotten. There's something about the way the charge shot works that I had forgotten and made it more frustrating for me. Like I guess I'd forgotten, or I assume it always worked out where you charge it and then you kind of have to press the button again to launch it.
Yeah.
Like, for some reason, now you're like, oh, that's how that works.
Well, if you're holding it in, it locks on.
Locks on. Then you got to let it go and press it again, or you lose it.
And then a whole other element of the game that for skilled players is locking on. You pick the right enemy in the formation with the lock on, and if you hit that one enemy, it kills all the enemies in the formation. And that's how you get good at the game. Like, I don't fire my blasters in Star Fox 64 at all.
No,
all I do is hold the button until it locks on and release it.
The individual blasters are pretty useless.
Yeah.
Unless you got them fully powered up.
You level them up. They can wreck shop. They just wipe everything out. But still, once you get good at it, you want to take out that whole formation with one shot. That's how you get this formation. And you just look, pow, 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 pow. Like, anyway. If you play Star Fox and you got into it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But this game is pretty much identical to Star Fox 64 based upon what we played so far. So I hope in the final version there's a surprise. I'm not counting on
there
it.
Isn't any, I'm sure.
Other
than like some like weird side mode or some,
Yeah.
like a challenge mode where you can do other stuff or whatever. But in terms of the main game, I think those expanded cutscenes are all you're getting.
Yep. So there you go. That is our preview of Star Fox for Switch 2. Again, coming in about a week and a half on June 25th. All right.
The other thing I thought was interesting was I didn't remember having quite so much difficulty picking out enemies and what's happening in the background.
It is busier because there's more objects.
Because there's more objects, it's more everything looks more realistic. Everything is more fidelity, and you put in like Star Fox 64 into your analog 3D.
And there's 8 things.
It's like that's it. That's everything that's a moving polygon is very obvious.
It's live and in the game because they can't afford to put things in there that you aren't going to interact with. Yep. All right, let's move on. We're going to talk next about a game I have been trying to get into this show for like a month now, and it always is at the end and it gets cut. And damn it, it's going to be in the show this time. We are going to talk about Stranger Than Heaven. It is the next game from the Yakuza team. It is an era-jumping action adventure, very similar to Yakuza, but they are really like kind of doing crazy stuff with this that has not been seen in any Yakuza game before now. We've talked about this game once or twice on the show before, so we've kind of given you the setup about how he jumps through the 5 different periods. Is it 5 or 4, actually?
I don't remember. I think it's 5, but I don't remember.
Let me get to my notes here, which I've been bringing with me for the last month to do this show. The lead protagonist is named Makoto Daito. And the cities that this whole story takes... wait, what am I saying? Oh. He is the one who goes through all these different cities throughout the course of the game. So there are a bunch of different eras there that spans 50 years. There's 5. There is Kokura Furukawa in 1915, Hiroshima in 1929, Osaka in 1943, Shizuoka in 1951, and Shinjuku, Tokyo in 1965. So 50 years throughout the whole thing. And it follows the life of the guy I said, Makoto Daito. He was born in the United States to an American father and a Japanese mother, but he suffers racism living in America, is half American, half Japanese, and so he goes to Japan, which is an interesting setup. Like, it's kind of surprising, honestly, that more Japanese games don't explore themes like this in the games. Why do you think that is, Matt?
Themes of what?
Of racism, having issues living in America, that kind of stuff. Problems assimilating into Western life, those kind of themes.
Probably because it's such a homogenous culture that it's not really a prominent enough issue to really bother addressing very often.
Okay, that makes sense. So anyway, he goes to Japan.
I would imagine a half American or half white, half Japanese person would run into their own issues in Japan itself, which
absolutely.
I assume will be part of what happens in this game.
I assume that as well. So he loses both of his parents in America when he's very young. And he grows up in the West and faces a bunch of struggles. So in 1915, he decides to find a way to Japan. I mean, he stows away on a boat, and he's caught by Snoop Dogg. And basically...
the chances are low, but never zero.
And basically, he becomes Snoop Dogg's sidekick. You end up, like, doing jobs for Snoop Dogg. Now, when we talked about this game last time, about how Snoop Dogg in this is just ridiculous. He uses, like,
it's just Snoop Dogg.
Street slang from, like, Compton in this game in 1915. Like, I don't know if the developers are just, like, clueless, or they're so happy to have Snoop in the game they don't care. but it's really weird and really off-putting.
Well, it's because he's speaking Japanese, so you're translating it into what we would hear in English.
I mean, he speaks English in the game, but I understand what you're trying to say.
Yeah. Well, everyone who's speaking English in this game is actually speaking Japanese.
Right.
Obviously.
Yeah, I get that. So you run into Snoop Dogg, and he ends up being like your boss. You end up doing a bunch of jobs for him. And then you also meet a good friend named Yu Shinjo, and he ends up becoming like your sidekick throughout the entire game. He's also of a mixed heritage, and his goal is just like yours. He wants to start a new life in Japan. So at first you guys are friends, but they also say that eventually you guys kind of become rivals throughout the course of the game, even though you guys know each other and you both are kind of in the same boat. No pun intended. So I guess Furukawa was a major industrial spot, and it was a hotbed of crime in 1915 when the segment with Snoop Dogg begins. And basically what happens is Snoop almost throws the pair overboard, but eventually you convince him to let you live and you start working for him instead. So you end up becoming, here's the crazy part, you end up becoming partners with your buddy in show business. And show business is a huge part of this game. Did you see this?
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty shocked to find out about this. So basically there's a whole system where you create these recordings. You encounter composers, and you'll be able to use like collected sounds that you found out in the world to create original compositions with the composers. You're actually writing music and songs in this game. You produce and manage gigs and performances for other artists, so you become like this agent that books other artists out in Japan.
It seems like it's basically an adaptation of the Hostess in Yakuza.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, they've just expanded it out like fivefold or whatever. Like you even get it so granular that you arrange a 5-piece band on the stage. You literally tell them like where to go on stage from your roster of your performers. It's a huge part of the game. And then the other thing that they showed off with this recent preview is the combat. This has an entirely brand new combat system from the Yakuza franchise. You control each side of his body separately. So right bumper and right trigger controls his right arm and his right leg, respectively. And then the left bumper and the left trigger maneuvers his left arm and his left leg, respectively. So it's almost like chewing bubblegum and rubbing your tummy at the same time. Like,
I mean, that's similar to the way Assassin's Creed started out.
It is, yeah.
The puppeteering.
The whole puppet concept, absolutely. Players can also charge up their attacks by holding a button down and releasing it at the right moment, and it gives you a more powerful hit. Players can block with one arm and then counterattack with a swift attack with the other arm. You can tackle an enemy using LT and RT together. So it really... I think what you're going to have to do when you start playing this is just accept. Okay, bumpers are my arms, triggers are my legs, and just let it happen. Like it's going to be interesting the first time I pick this up to see if I'm going to be able to wrangle this control scheme like right out of the gate. Because that's one thing I'll say, Matt. Like being a games journalist, it's not that we're better players than other people. I think we have the ability to pick up control schemes quicker than most people because we just played with so many of them throughout the years. But it'll be interesting to see if I can pick up this one, because it sounds like it's going to be crazy. As far as weapons are concerned, there are basic knives, there are hammers, there are mallets. There are masterworks of old katanas that were like a brand new invention of other brand new inventions in the era. The weapons can be upgraded. They have special attacks and passive abilities as well. There's powerful finishing moves, context-sensitive attacks. There's also, it's a Yakuza game, so of course there's mini games that appear all the time. They showed arm wrestling contests, dice rolling, card-based games, target shooting, stuff like that. And what do you think about the control scheme, Matt?
Interesting. We'll see how it looks, see how it feels.
Mm-hmm.
I'd imagine it's probably going to be pretty functional because these guys don't miss,
Mm-hmm.
really.
The footage that they've shown of the combat looks pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So obviously in the hands of a pro or somebody who knows it very well, it looks like it could be really cool. So I'm excited. I'm excited for any game that plays differently from games I've played before, Matt. Like, at this point, we've played every genre so many times. It's nice.
Like, it's not super far off Tekken's control scheme. That is pretty much how Tekken works. Right arm, left leg, right leg. It's
That's
face buttons,
true.
though.
Yeah, face buttons instead of the shoulders. You're right, actually. That's a good point. But you're on a 2D plane there.
Not anymore.
Yeah,
Tekken 7 and 8 are
you have
pretty
like the sidestepping
loose.
and stuff now. Yeah. But this game is freeform. Like, you're just
Yeah.
out in the 3D world. You can go in any direction, blah, blah, blah. So it will be cool to see how it kind of works
Yeah,
within
you're
the
moving
context.
the camera perspective, but it's not completely unprecedented.
Yeah.
If you're using Tekken as a baseline, you can probably do something to adapt that into something relatively intuitive.
Yeah. All I can say about this game is that I have not been genuinely excited to play a Yakuza game in quite a while. I am very excited to play this game.
I mean, I was excited to play Pirate in Honolulu.
You were, I was not. But fair.
But I was
Other
right.
people are, I'm not. This, I am all over, man. I am very excited. Just the eras. And
No, it's definitely the appeal of this for me is definitely these eras and
The
subject
historical
matter
part.
that's very rarely tackled.
yeah. So I'm very excited for this game. What is the release date for this? I did not put it in my notes, unfortunately. I think it's like January 15th, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like the first couple weeks of January, if I remember correctly.
Pretty much the RGG studio window. Where
Yeah,
they put something out
It does
around then
always
every
happen.
year.
You're right. It does always seem to happen. It is 1/15. It is January 15th, and it's coming to PC, PS5, Xbox Series. No word. Is this coming to Game Pass day one? I think it might be.
I don't remember.
It might be. Don't quote me on that. But it's coming to the 3 big platforms. Maybe eventually it comes to Switch 2. Who knows? But for right now, it's just for the big 3. And yeah, it's coming in the first couple weeks of January. So
Yes, it is day one.
day one Game Pass. That's great. That means a lot more people are going to give this game a chance than maybe would have. Because it doesn't have the Yakuza name in it either, which, you know, is a little risky. So
I don't think it necessarily needs it. I mean, it is clearly in the same universe to some degree because the Red Light District is Kamurocho, which is the same as because that is the fictionalized version of Kabukicho that Yakuza uses. So we'll see. I mean, I think if you're either interested in this concept or you're not.
Yep. There's really no in between, I think. And the good news is they've done a good job of marketing it, so it's not like they're hiding anything or anything like that. You know exactly what you're getting
the
into.
question is going to be can they break containment with it?
Right.
Can they get some ads on on football or something?
Yeah.
You can get push it out there because this is an interesting idea, and it's certainly like nothing else.
Yep. I'm very excited for it. And again, I'm not a big fan of Yakuza. I like those games, but it's not like I'm really jacked up and can't wait to play them. This one, I am jacked up and I can't wait to play.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'll play anything this team puts out.
Yeah.
But like, this is certainly the most interesting thing they've made in a long time.
Yeah. Once again, we're reaching the end of the show, so we're not going to be able to get to all the topics that we had in the rundown. But we are going to tackle the last one very quickly, and that is that there's some really bad stuff going on right now at Bungie. A French journalist named Sylvain, I'm going to get his name right, Sylvain Trinel, is reporting that by the end of June, half of Bungie is going to be gone. That there are going to be layoffs, and not only are the rank and file developers going to be gone, that several luminaries who have been at Bungie since the Halo days are also going to leave because the options that they were given when they were purchased are about to vest. And so everybody that signed on and got the RSUs, the Microsoft RSUs when they were purchased, those people were just waiting for this moment when they vest and they will get their money and they're going to leave and then they're going to lay off like half of the studio. Which still will probably leave 200 or 300 people at Bungie.
Yeah, I mean, part of that is just because, look, if Destiny's shutting down and Marathon is probably shutting. I mean,
It's on the way there.
Revamped Free Weekend they didn't move the needle at all.
No.
You probably don't need Bungie to be as big as it is.
There's no fixing Marathon.
Probably not.
There's no way to fix it and get the messaging out there to give it another chance to be a hit. There just isn't.
No.
It's not like the case of like Cyberpunk 2077 where like 10 million people had already bought it and you're like, at the very least we need to fix it for them.
And like people wanted the game that Cyberpunk was trying to be. And I don't really think that's true here.
I don't think so either.
You'd need to reinvent this pretty heavily.
I think the bigger question becomes does Bungie survive?
I don't know. Probably.
You think so?
In some form.
Because if you start losing all the talent, you lay off half the people and you lose the figureheads. Although, the great man theory,
right?
It doesn't seem like it works anymore. Maybe it'll be better for Bungie if the figureheads leave. Seriously.
Probably.
I mean, it might be better. Maybe there's some ideas banging around there.
I mean, the best case scenario, I think, is that like the people who remain get one last shot to like make something that that brings it all back.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if going to the people that have been sort of running this into the ground for so long is really the option.
Right. It's also interesting.
Again, I do think that the first like crack in the armor was when they did that update to Destiny 2, and they couldn't get the old stuff to really function with the new engine or whatever, so they basically removed a bunch of the content from Destiny 2, so you could no longer play all of Destiny 2.
Yep.
And that was pretty much when I lost interest in that.
I think a lot of people did. It's also crazy watching this B-roll of vanilla Destiny 2. I mean, one thing I will say is they improved the look of that game big time across its lifespan. Yeah. This is launch Destiny 2 we're seeing right here.
And I thought Destiny 2 looked pretty good at launch.
Right. Yep. I did too. But it has improved by leaps and bounds since it came out. That's why I wanted to show this on purpose, just to like kind of show people how much it's improved, because it's so incremental. It's hard to see it on a release by release basis, but seeing this footage,
some of the really long running stuff is like, I mean, like looking at World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, that's been like 5 different games visually speaking.
It is crazy. Will you be upset if Bungie goes away? Will you feel like you've lost anything?
No.
Yeah. You have
not that
like
I
emotional attachment to it or anything?
No. That's who cares?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I care in the sense that I don't want people to lose their jobs. I don't want like these companies, more of these companies shut down, the fewer people can actually work in the game industry. They have to move in other industries. Like, that's not good. I don't want that.
I do wonder what's
going to happen. But I don't have
happen.
any emotional attachment to Bungie. No.
Yeah.
Like, the Bungie that I have an emotional attachment to just ceased to exist in the mid-2000s. Like, my emotional attachment to Bungie isn't even Halo. It's Marathon.
Yeah. I wonder what's going to happen to all these developers, Matt.
I don't know.
Like, it's not... It is a very specific skill making video games. It's like, some people could go and work at, like, a CG studio or something like that, but a lot of them... I don't know, man.
The vast majority of them will end up in, like, more standard coding jobs. That's
like,
all.
building apps and stuff like that.
That's
a different skill set.
That's what happened to a whole... It's not a very different skill set. It's very easy to transfer laterally that way.
I mean, it's a whole different code language.
No, not...
Programming apps versus programming games.
C is C. Most of the people I know who used to work at like various places that no longer found any significant, they just moved right over to app and like, I mean, like boring.
Well, the other thing is like
boring ass data entry financial app coding and shit like that.
Those jobs are going away too. Everyone's using AI to code now.
That is an ongoing problem as well.
Yeah. So I feel for these people, man. It's like only the very best of the best are going to end up getting jobs, or the people who kiss the boss's ass.
I was going to say more the most connected of the most connected.
Yeah, that's
the best has very little to do with it.
Yeah. I would be a little sad if Bungie went away. I played their great games, and I still think they're a talented studio. Like, I still enjoyed patches of Marathon.
I mean, they can still make gunplay feel good.
Yeah.
Like, that's clearly...
Like, better than anybody else. And I'm a big shooter guy, so I do feel like I would lose something personally if they were to go away, but...
Like, I mean, I was, playing Marathon, it was like, oh, it's a shame this isn't...
A single player.
Yeah, to be really dismissive, it's a shame this isn't a real game.
Mm-hmm.
Like something I would want to play
I felt the same
through.
way while I was playing.
Like a Doom the Dark Ages.
I'm like, this feels great, and I'm dead.
Yeah.
That was Marathon for me. So anyway, at the very least, Bungie is getting majorly neutered here in the very near future. Will they survive? I think a lot of that's going to depend on if they can pitch something that is viable and that will get a green light.
And the whims of Sony.
Right.
Really.
PlayStation's kind of written them off already. I mean, they literally put out a press release saying that they wrote off like $800 million because of Bungie.
Yeah.
It feels like I
feel like considering the money you've thrown into it, you probably give them one last shot.
Yeah.
And maybe...
they should, for sure. Like,
maybe
they shouldn't kill Bungie.
outside of the game as a service requirement.
Yeah. For the record, I think that would be a dumb decision, killing Bungie.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to happen, unfortunately.
I mean, I think it was a dumb decision to kill the Concord team.
Mm-hmm, me too. They're also very
clearly
talented
they
and
can
very
make
skilled.
something great if you just let them make something.
And instead they kept Fire Sprite, which shows, like, Until Dawn 2, and it looks like a AA game. Like, I don't know what's going on at Sony, but... Anyway, the bottom line is Bungie is in deep crap right now, and it may not survive, which to me really sucks, because they have been a premier developer in the industry for quite a while, and it's just a shame that they were basically mismanaged.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the good news is that all the people that were already there got paid.
They did.
When Sony bought them,
Mm-hmm. And most of them will be fine. More than fine. Like the executives at Bungie.
Sure,
yeah. They don't have to work ever again, and they could just spend probably like $10,000 a day for the rest of their lives and never have to get a job. So, yeah, I'm not crying for the execs. I'm crying for the people who are actually the workers, the people who are doing the crunch and spending the
legions.
70-hour. Yeah, absolutely.
Hundreds and hundreds of people.
Yeah.
Like those are jobs that don't have anywhere else to go in the industry.
Yeah,
if they are eliminated.
Yeah. All right. that brings us to the end of GameFace, episode 484, which means, of course, there's just one thing left to do. That's right. It's time for Name That Game Tune, brought to you by Soundwizardry.com, the absolute wizards of audio. If you have a game you're working on, a film you're working on, a TV show you're working on, a podcast that you're working on, and the audio people aren't getting it done, contact Soundwizardry. I promise you they will get it done and then some. They are the masters of audio. They have worked on Game of the Year winners. They're working probably on Game of the Year contenders right now. Go to soundwizardry.com, and we play this fun game because of Soundwizardry called Name That Game Tune, where I play 5 audio samples from a video game, and you try to guess the name of the game before this guy right here. There really are no rules. You can play over and over again. At the end of the year, we'll see who has the most wins, and they will win the crown and the prize. So everybody's free to play. If you've won already, that's okay. You can keep on playing. Also, I see on YouTube, Devin Danger gave us a $10 super chat. Thank you, Devin. And he says, please don't leave YouTube. Cancel TLDR and publish the live show when you're done. I just can't with Twitch. I'm always on YouTube anyway with Premium. You get some revenue from my watch time, right? I don't know, actually. Maybe. But regardless, thank you, Devin. Thank you for the super chat and for the advice. All right, let me bring up the Name That Game Tune interface. Everybody on YouTube, if you want to play, you do have to jump over to twitch.tv/SIFTDgames and get over there. I'll give you a heartbeat or two to do that. Your headphones okay, Matt?
Yep.
Levels okay? All right. Let me bring up the sound bank. Matt, are you ready to play Name That Game Tune?
Yeah.
Are you guys ready to play Name That Game Tune? Here's the first sample in 3, 2, 1. Play it twice to make it nice. Willie Beamish, no. Wow. I'm not even sure what that is. Willie Beamish. Kung Fu Chaos, no. Fez, no. Gradius, no. Gradius was a good guess at Saber. Asteroids, no. Kingdom Hearts 2, that's not it. Phantasy Star Online, nope. Hyper Light Drifter, that's not it. Any last guesses on that first one? Super Mario RPG, no. Mega Man Legends, no. Star Fox, that's not it. Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, that's not it. F-Zero, nope. I could see where you would guess that, though. That's a good guess, but wrong, unfortunately. Any last guesses? Prince of Persia, no. We've had some good ones. The last couple episodes have been good ones. We've got at the end or near the end in all of them, pretty much. Any last guesses? Going once. Going twice. Thunder Force 3, no. From our leader right now, the leader on the leaderboards, Emperor Gestalt 84. Galaxian, no. Going once. Oh, R-Type Final, nope. Also a good guess, Jam Rain. He got the little hype train thing going on beside his name there. That's cool. Thank you, JM Rain, for all your support, brother. Going once. Going twice. Okay, here's the second sample in 3, 2, 1.
Oh, damn it. I know that.
Sewer Shark, no. Sea of Stars, no.
Dark Cloud 2.
Not Dark Cloud 2. We have a winner.
It is Xenogears.
There it
That
is.
Xenogears.
Robonian. It is Xenogears. Good job, man.
I had the wrong Mitsuda music in my head.
Good job, brother or sister. I'm not sure whether you're a guy or a girl, but you won. Name That Game Tune for episode 484. Let me get his name back up here again because all these guesses came in. There he is. Robonian. Congratulations, brother.
Robo-Nyan.
Robo-Yon?
Nyan.
Nyan. Robo-Nyan.
Nyan Cat.
Okay.
It's a robot version of the Nyan Cat.
Oh, okay. Congratulations.
I'm pretty sure that's what that is.
You're on the board, brother. Emperor Gastal, I think, has 3 wins, and there's one other person I think that has maybe 2, and then there's a lot of people with 1. And then Matt, you have like 6, I think. You're like way ahead of everybody.
I should have had that one. I've had that soundtrack forever.
Oh, really?
It's the only thing I like about that game.
I'll play the rest of the samples for you guys just to bring back some memories. Here's the third one. I turned it on.
This is an emergency. Level 1 alert.
Here's the 4th one. I mixed it up. Music, sound effects, the whole thing. The last one, I think, was like the level up sound or the battle theme or something, like the most common thing that people hear. There you go. It was Xenogears. Congratulations. All right. That's going to do it. GameFace episode 484 is in the books. Another awesome episode. Thanks to everybody on the chat. Thanks to everybody who shows up at twitch.tv/SiftedGames and youtube.com/SiftedGames. We will be back here next Wednesday. So we're going to inch back to our normal Tuesday slot. Next week, Wednesday. Hopefully the week after that, Tuesday. But this is probably going to be the last Thursday show, probably for the year, honestly. This always happens around this time. We get off schedule and we got to slowly get back to our old Tuesday slot. We'll do that. We'll get there. I promise
We would have
you.
been back if we hadn't had the cat emergency.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's true. Next week, will Star Fox be in the show next week? It won't, because it'll come out that day,
Comes
I
out
think.
that night? Probably?
Yeah. So probably it won't be in next week's show, but you know us. We'll make sure we whip up something good for you guys. Before we go, I just want to remind everybody that we're supported at patreon.com/sifted. For just $5 a month, you get all our content early. If you pledge at that $7 tier, the Ask Shane tier, that means that the Shane Satterfield show keeps going. I'd really appreciate that. But I appreciate anything, man. If you go there and just pledge $1, I love you long time. So it would be great if you could go over there and help us out however you can. But if you don't have money, that's cool. If you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, you can still give us a free $2.50 every month. It literally costs you nothing. We talk about it all the time on the show, Twitch Prime. Anybody jump in at the end there? Don't see anybody.
Your pause. So
on
you
pause.
can't
Let me
see.
scroll down. Sometimes you guys jump in at the end with Twitch Prime. Mina the Hollower Vincent is recommending for next week. Oh, there's one. Glottis21. Thank you for Twitch Prime. So yeah, we talk about it on the show all the time. If you don't know what we're talking about and you're watching on YouTube, go down below. There's step-by-step instructions to teach you guys how to connect your accounts. You have to do that once, and that takes a minute or two. And then after that, it's just 3 clicks to give us a free $2.50 every month. And you do have to re-up it every month. It's annoying, I get it, but we'd really appreciate it. And then again, like we talked about this at the beginning of the show, how important it is for people to share the show. It's so hard to reach new people, even on YouTube with 20,000 followers or whatever. It's very hard to reach new people. So if you don't have any money and you don't have Amazon Prime and you still want to help us, that's the way to do it. Share the show on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, any of those places. If you got gamers that follow you, it could make a big difference for us. We would really, really appreciate it. And then if you can't do that, just like the show as you're watching it right now, leave a comment, ring the bell, all that funny YouTube stuff. That also makes a difference. If you're listening to the show on a podcast service right now, write a review for the show. That makes a big difference. There's nothing more lonely than a podcast without any reviews. Luckily, ours isn't like that, but we could always use more. A lot of times if the reviews are old, it won't bubble up in the search results. So there's a million ways you can help us. Whether you use money or not, we appreciate all of it. Any thought or effort that you give to helping Sifted is freaking awesome, and I appreciate you so much. So that's it for GameFace 484. We'll see you next Wednesday at twitch.tv/SiftedGames at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. Until then, have yourselves an awesome week filled with awesome games. GameFace is up and out.